I have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe to toe with me on that?
You've like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Five. How's everybody doing? I hope you are all happy and healthy, doing the things you love, tolerating what is obviously a incredibly stressful time for Tottenham fans. We don't know whether we're coming or going. We don't know whether our manager is going to be here tomorrow or by next weekend. We don't know whether he should be here. Obviously, the board feel a certain way. The fans feel a certain way. Change for Tottenham protests, bit of a damp squib. Champions League squads we've got to discuss. We've only got 11 players fit in the team anyway, and Thomas Frank's been making galore amounts of quotations. That's not even a phrase, but you know what I mean, guys. We're going to lock in for the next 2 hours. Look who we brought back together. The band is back together this evening. Sava rejoins the Five to make it the Five. But yeah, because we like an argument. And we like a bit of banter. We like a little bit of like, you know, a time like today is going to be a time like it used to be, where we're just going to go off on random tangents. So, but that sounded like I was suggesting you were the catalyst for an argument. And that's not what I meant.
I got
that
wasn't what I meant at all. Sam, that wasn't what I meant at all. I just meant like.
No, I'm so worn down. I don't think I've got any fight and arguing in me. If I'm brutally, I don't know what we're even going to argue about. I think we're all pretty much done. Right?
That came out all wrong. That wasn't my intention at all.
Guys, Peaky Lubo? Is that Peaky Lubo?
Peaky Lubo's back. We're going to see a Hulk smash tonight. And we got Stel with his Christmas baubles. You're supposed to take your Christmas decorations by the 12th of January, Stel. Don't know if you need to change that background. But anyway, listen, guys, before I come and find out how everyone's doing, please do smash the like button, smash the subscribe if you haven't already. You know the rules. Notification button should be squeezed. Comments should be dropped. And we are, of course, today sponsored by OK Jersey. Best place to go for all of your footballing clobber, new, retro, all the latest gear, all the old school stuff, whatever you're looking for, Jacquets, Jeremy Jacquets, all of that sort of thing you can find at OK Jersey. Plus, not just football stuff, off-branded athleisure wear. Go and find OK Jersey, stick in code 5 at checkout for the best prices in town that get a little bit better with 8% off with code 5 at checkout. Thank you to them for the sponsorship. And of course, lastly, guys, but by no means least, we are trying to grow the podcast platforms related content. You can find all of this stuff over on Spotify and on Apple Pods and Amazon. So if you are into that sort of thing, then do search us up, Spurs 5 over there. Give us a rating and a follow. Saber, after putting my foot in my mouth with a complete accident there, mate, let me recover. Let me redeem myself by saying it's fantastic to have you back, mate. How are you? Good to see you.
I know you well enough, Sean. That was not a slip of the tongue. I know.
No, it was.
Don't you worry about that, mate. No, good. Yeah, good day for me today. So I'm a happy boy today. So yeah.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Stel, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Evening, everybody. Evening to the chat. All the people that listen to us on the podcast afterwards. Just want to say thank you to everyone that donated to the scarf fund. I did buy the scarves. There I am, handing them out to the 20 people that came to the protest. There you go. Big up to all you guys that came up to me asking for your scarves, and big up to this man here as well, who came up to me and said, I'm the problem. I'm one of the people that you say doesn't come to the protest but boos in the stadium. Well, here I am. I thought he was going to slap me in the face. But listen, big shout out to him and everyone that came up to me. And, you know, the scarf fund was spent as we promised on the scarves. And also thank you to
apparently there should also be a charity fund, right? Someone kept saying to us, or someone kept saying to me, Sean, if you wore your flip-flop costume, then someone promised to put 50 quid towards charity. I don't remember hearing that or reading that. And I didn't come wearing the flip-flop outfit for that reason at all. I just came because flip-flops have got a flip-flop. And so I just wanted to show for anyone who doubted it, whoever it was that said that 50 quid was in the charity bin for the show, there it is. So whoever you were, get donating. Lubo, how you doing, mate?
All good tonight, thanks. All good. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Another great weekend football. Wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful.
It is,
character building. That's what it is. It's character building.
Johnny, how you doing, mate?
How do you follow Lubo Shelby up there? Yeah, listen, guys, thanks for your support. Great to see you all here tonight. I think it's going to be spicy, but I think most fans now, even people who were trying to sort of defend Frank, have run out of things to defend him with, really. But most of the fan base, whilst united in probably wanting Frank out, seems to be extremely divided by some of the scenes I saw coming out of the stadium where our own fans were fighting each other.
Were they? I heard about this.
Yeah, people, shouting at each other and calling each other the usual names. Guys, we all got one love, Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we just all want to get to the same destination. Unfortunately, it looks like this train ain't going to the destination we want it. But good to see you all in the chat. Keep your comments coming, and look forward to the chat this afternoon. Well, this evening, actually.
Yeah, great to see everyone. Please, don't forget to take your shoes off by smashing the like button. All right, guys, look, we've got a few things to talk about, obviously, today. The topics are as follows. Obviously, the West Ham debacle, Thomas Frank, should he stay, should he go? What's the update? What's the latest there? How do we all feel about that? Obviously, Matisse Tell been kicked out of the Champions League squad again. The change for Tottenham protest, we've got to talk about that as well. And, we hazarded a guess on the last show on Thursday night around how many people would turn up. We weren't sure, but I think they were expecting more than what did turn up.
Yeah.
Let's start there, guys. Let's build up to this. Let's start there. 150, 200, 250 people, whatever it was. It wasn't anywhere near the numbers of the big one from last season. They turned up, sung a few songs in the hour before the game, and it wasn't particularly well celebrated, well supported. I think we can all pretty much agree on that. Which maybe would lead you to think that a lot of Tottenham fans at the stadium, not that despondent or whatever. However, in the 90th minute when we conceded, or whatever it was in the minute in the game when we conceded that second goal, I was in the South Stand. Savra, I'm guessing you were there in the South Stand as well. I don't know if you were singing it, but I got up. Every single person around me and 17,000 others were singing "You're Getting Sacked in the Morning." So on that ratio, on that analysis, the fact that of the 60,000 people that were there, or 58,000 that were Tottenham fans, whatever, something around that, if half of the fan base in the stadium was singing "You're going to get sacked in the morning," but only a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction went there to protest against the owners, what does that say about the match-going fan, and why? Who wants to go first? I don't mind who wants to take this one. Johnny, go on then.
All right, sorry, mate. I'm just going to say, I think you hit the nail on the head, Sean, with those numbers. When you see 17,000 people in the stand, and where I was sat shouting, "You're getting sacked in the morning," and the West Ham fans singing, "How shit must you be? We're winning away." Yeah. You would think that a small proportion of those would show some sort of hate or anger towards the board. I didn't hear one song about Enoch. I didn't hear one song about the board. And for someone like Billy and the Change for Tottenham guys who went out their way, on Talk Sport, on all the shows, seen by literally thousands and heard by tens of thousands of people, that only 200 or 150 or 200 turned up is very disappointing, and just shows there is an apathy to change. People want to moan about the situation. They want to moan about everything that's going on, but they don't have the will to do something about it. And you can't complain. Like, for example, all the people, I'll use the mayoral elections, all the people who are complaining that Sadiq Khan stayed in as mayor of London, I say to them, did you vote? No. Did you vote? No. Well, then you've only got yourself to blame. So, there were many people that said, well, I heard no one turned up. And I said, well, there wasn't a lot of people. Are you happy? No. Why didn't you turn up? Couldn't be bothered was most of the reply. But they have, they're not happy people, Sean, but they just don't want to do anything about it. Doesn't mean they're not on board for change, but they're not willing to commit themselves to march up and down or do the things that some people want to do. And
does it also infer at all maybe that the fans, like even the 2,500 people that were there last year, versus the 250 people, so 9 in every 10 people that were there last year decided not to turn up to that one.
Yeah.
Does it also infer maybe that they took the bait and switch by the new majority owners? It was all down to that bad man over there. We're different. We're going to back the club. Like all that kind of, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. It was him. All of that stuff. Do you think that a lot of the fans at least have bought into it?
I think the Conor Gallagher signing. I saw a lot of comments from people who turned around and said, "I think the timing's all wrong with Conor Gallagher signing." And then the statement the night before, a statement of intent. I think the two coupled definitely affected the numbers. But that's not to say that they would have been massive without those events. No one knows. But listen, everyone has the right to object in their own way. Some people just want to go down the pub and talk about it to their friends or ring up their mates or send a WhatsApp and say this is shit, something's got to change. And there are a small group of people who want to get up and do something about it. That's it.
The only positive I can take from Saturday, and for me personally, I'm just really disappointed. I thought more fans cared enough. We're not talking about the fans. I mean,
they do care, Sean, Lubo. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, they do. That's what I'm saying. They care, but should we chastise them for caring, but not wanting to go to a demonstration, but to vent their anger inside the stadium as to what's going on?
How do you know they care, Johnny?
Well, because they're shouting, you're getting sacked in the morning, mate.
Yeah, that's to the manager.
And booing.
That's to the manager, though.
And booing.
Well, I think that's the challenging part, though, right? Like, are the fans looking like? I've said this 1,000 times. I believe that the online fans have a different level of investment. And I think the away going fans have a different level of investment, either time, inclination, interest, money, whatever. And I think a lot of people at the stadium, to them, they think about Tottenham on a Friday night, Saturday morning, and then on Sunday after the weekend's done, they put that stuff to bed for a minute. They go back to their work, go back to their family, go back to their problems, go back to their life. And it's a different level of priority. But I also think that there has to be something you can take away from this, Lubo, regarding like 17,000 people saying you're getting sacked in the morning about a manager. Nobody sang a word about Enoch. So clearly, for the majority of the match-going fans, they do have a problem, but it's not with the owners.
Sure. No, obviously. The only positive that I could take from the protest was the fact that whether it was the fans with all the booing, all the incidents that have happened in the weeks leading up to the match at the weekends, with Porro involved, Vicario involved, Romero, Mickey van der Ven having the row. You had change for Tottenham getting involved then with the protest. And I think a combination of maybe, and the club are watching social media as well. They can see what people think. And I think the combination of all those things prompted Vinay to come out the blue with the statements. We're talking about halfway through a transfer window. We're not even talking about at the end of it where he may be summing up. But for me, that was... What was he
reacting to, Lubo? Was he reacting to the change for Tottenham noise? Was he reacting to the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust demanding answers? Was he reacting to the fact that the social zeitgeist has pivoted into a new direction?
I think the fans as well. I think the away fans booing as well, which never normally happens. And I just think that they're seeing all of this. Then they're no fools. They can see everything building up. and that prompted Vinay to, I'm not saying any one specific thing prompted them. I think a combination of lots of different things prompted Vinay to come out with a statement. Maybe he watched us, moaning that he hadn't come out. Where's he been the last few months? It's all very well him coming out in the middle of summer. Yap. Where's he been the last few months?
Exactly, yeah. I think a lot of the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust probably reacting to the fact that Change for Tottenham getting some noise. Change for Tottenham probably more likely to have brought forward their protest because a lot of the social commentary on YouTube channels, on Facebook, on Twitter, etc., was all bubbling up as well. So like the catalyst for it is kind of irrelevant. The genesis of it starts with the fans online, I think, because obviously the match game fans are not booing the owners; they're booing the team.
I think Billy T being on Talk Sport with Alan Brazil helped as well. All these things. The club are monitoring all the media. They're watching everything that's going on. That they're watching people on. We had I saw Mitch Fretton on Sky Sports today talking. And that was more to do with Frank.
But where was he at the protest?
People are getting involved. And I think it's, for me, 150, 200 people, it's so disappointing because, as I said on the show, people are there. It's not like full marks to people like Mark Cook, who travelled down from Manchester on Saturday just to be at the protest. I don't expect that from people. Big up to Cookie. But just stop 15 minutes. That's all it would have taken. Instead of going into the grounds at 2:00, stop by and
they don't.
That's all we got as fans, Sean. That's all we got.
The appetite wasn't there for it, obviously.
They're not doing it. As I've said to you guys before, not everyone sees the club through the same lens as the hardcore unique outers do. Let me just quickly bring in Sava and Stell on this one. We'll get a full round on this one. Sava, I want to ask you a specific question. You can go where you want with the answer, right? But one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys tonight was if Vinay is looking at that. Just at that double experience, right? How many people turned up? He's looking outside of his box. Who's down the road? There they are, the yellow flag bozos, whatever. How many of them are there? Oh, there's 200 people there. Okay, not bad. So they don't hate us. And then 93rd minute, you're getting sacked in the morning. The entire South stand singing. To me, if I'm Vinay, I'm looking at that environment and thinking, I put out a plan. I inferred my plan, my 5-point thing, and one of those points was to build the trust with the fans again, right? Build that bridge with the fans. If the fans are calling for his head, to me, my initial thought was there's only one thing that he has to do right now, which is make, I believe, in terms of like winning over the fans, the simple decision. Because if he doesn't do it, if he doesn't sack Frank, then he risks all of the anger and the frustration that is clearly right now aimed at Thomas Franksav being pivoted to Vinay saying, make a difficult decision. Like you're not a number 2 now, you're number 1. You have to make the difficult decision. And the longer you don't do it, the more of that pivot, the more of that question mark is going to go to him. At the same time though, Sav, if he does do that, if he does sack the manager, isn't that him admitting that he's torn up the plan 6 months in? And therefore, what's better, listen to the fans or back the plan?
Jeez, that's a lot to unpack. Look, first and foremost, look, you're spot on. It goes back to what Lubo always says, micro v macro, right? The easy thing they can do now, and I think they're going to be to sack Frank, because sacking managers is the easier thing to do. We all know that. Every football club. You're 100% right. I saw you say it on your show the other day. If they have said, hey, this is the new look Tottenham in the summer, this is our plan, this is our project, this is why we sacked this manager, this is why I brought this manager in, then don't listen to the fans and keep him. If you get rid of him this soon, are you then just listening to fans? Look, all of that, again, it's where's the leadership? Like, what is the leadership? Again, like Lubo said, the timing of Vinay coming out and doing what he did on late Friday night, was it like 10 p.m. Friday night, the day before, the day after we've signed Conor Gallagher, the day before protests. Look, Vinay's laughing. Vinay, as I've said, there's big problems and there's little problems at Spurs. There are problems that have been here for decades and there are problems that have been here for a few months. Removing the problem that's been here for a few months is a very easy thing to do. It's why I get so much stick for when I talk about this. You can remove that, but you can't just remove that, right? You can remove the manager, but that can't be the only thing you do to stop this club being an absolute mess, because it's been a mess for years. Like when I say years, I'm going 20 years. I think other than Poch and Redknapp having really successful 4-year spells each, 3-4 year spells each, where they both weren't back to kick on, this club has been a mess with no identity for 20, 30 years.
30 years.
So for me, Vinay can really win the fans over, Sean. You said go anywhere where you want with it. If I was Vinay, the simple thing I'd do right now is go, right, see you, Thomas. See you later. Boom, gone. And look how many of these fans are just going to be like, yeah, oh my God, it's amazing. Because they're all online. No, but have a look, right? No one's talking about transfer window. No one's talking about the real need, which is to buy some actual quality footballers. No one's talking about that our forward line is one of the worst we've ever seen in Tottenham shirts as a collective. We're now, the only thing we're talking about in a January transfer window is the manager. That's fine. You can get rid of him. But we're now moving away from Enoch. We're moving away from buying players. You got football fans saying, I don't want this manager to sign anyone this window. We should wait. No, hang on. Are you seeing our depleted squad? We haven't got goal scorers. We've got a depleted squad. It doesn't matter who the manager is. You've got to be out there buying footballers in. So for me, Sean, as I've said, if I break this down into 4 parts, mate, if I break this down into 4 parts, owners, director of football and scouts, players, manager, they can all take a massive share of the blame. Thomas Frank's getting the lion's share of it. Cool. And he's the one that's been here less time than all of them, right? That tells you we're more worried about the micro than we are the macro. Hence why the protest, Vinay's going to look at that and go, I don't care about that one bit. I don't care because I can win.
It's the bottom of his priority list right now, isn't it?
100%.
I can win all those fans over right now. By the way, please, before anyone says, I've not said the manager shouldn't go. I've not been asked that question yet. But he can win all the fans over tomorrow, Wednesday morning, by going, see you later, Frank, here's your P45. And every fan goes, oh my God, this is amazing. Not realizing that nothing has actually changed at the football club other than the name on the top of the manager's door. And we're going to, and if I was Vinay, that is exactly what I'd be doing right now. Frank,
problem is though, mate, is the next question. We're going to save this for the Thomas. In fact, I'll save it for because it's a great segue, but I'll save it for the next segment about Thomas Frank. Stel, I'll come to you, mate. Listen, you've been championing the protests for God knows, for long as I've known you. What's your takeaway from what happened on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m?
Absolutely rubbish. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I stick by what I say. Our fans are a problem. They want to boo and change managers every 2 years. They want to hate on us when we lose and this and that. But the real change is at the top, and they're not prepared to fight for it. So whilst our fan base stays as it is, nothing will change. Nothing. It simply won't. And I think we live in a bit of a bubble, us guys here on YouTube, because the reality is we look at the viewers like now we've got 1,300. Okay.
Smash the like.
Yeah, smash the like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And we think, there's lots of people listening to us, we can influence and get people down there and, people who also feel like us, they'll be at the protest, whatnot. The reality is we're nobodies. We really don't have that clout. And when I look at the big protests that happened at United a couple of years ago, all the major channels that they had, the United Stand, Mark Goldbridge, what's his face that does the terrace, and then you've got Stratford Paddock. They were all behind the protest. They were all championing it. They all got down. Everyone got involved. Same when Arsenal had 10, 15,000 down at the protest to get Kroenke out. They all the channels were behind it. Everyone made an effort. We aren't the same. We aren't the same. Look, just to give you, I had to write it down now as I was thinking about this. Abby Summers, she moans, she complains, never see her. Majestic moans, complains, never see him. Mitch Fretton, he'll go on Sky Sport for some clout. Will he champion for change and get involved? No. Ben Bowman Expressions, Sonny Talk Spurs, Chris Cowlin, Danny Kelly. These are influential people. They've got a presence. Paul O'Keefe,
Where were they?
Spurs fans at the part of the Athletic, Flav Bateman on Sky Sports. All of them, all of these people, when we change the manager, can't wait, get on board. They jump on it. They jump on the transfers. They jump on the managers. When it goes wrong, right, let's turn against them all now. And yet they'll all say, but we've still got Enoch, but Levy, but you don't do nothing. It's almost
aren't you saying that all these people that have got the ability to have a platform, aren't they also engaging in the same platforms that you say that the rest of us are?
But the difference is they're
talking to the same fans, aren't they? They're talking to the same people.
These guys are regulars on Talk Sport and Sky. These are the biggest platforms out there. My
point is though, if 62,000, if part of the reason why 62,000 people doesn't translate, who go to the game doesn't translate into 10,000 people.
Sean, that's not my point. Hold on, that's not my point. My point is, if all of us who are moaning and complaining about the same problems and stop only blaming the manager. Frank is a problem, but he's not the problem. There's many other problems. It all stems further up. And that's what all these people refer to and say, right? They all talk about the same thing, yet they don't want to do something about it, but they'll commentate on it and they'll talk about, oh, there's a protest going on. So for content's purposes, they'll do it, but that's not good enough. Yet other clubs, when they got the numbers at their protest, they all united behind it and got involved. We're not like that, Sean. And I personally am saying now, I've overestimated what I think we as your channel. Well, you're not really fully behind the protest, but me, Sava now, he was at the protest on the weekend for the first time. Ricky Sachs is the only kind of so-called influence that's on Sky and on Talk Sport that goes to the protest. He's the only one. He's the only one that now attends it. All the others don't. And I think unless the majority get on board, the protests are a waste of time going forward, unfortunately.
You're saying if Chris Cowlin had turned up to the protest, suddenly another 100 people, another 1,000 people would have been there next to him.
Him and the others would definitely influence a lot more people there. Yes, in my opinion. Yeah.
I disagree. Right? Like I think if you're the sort of person who goes to the game and you don't want to protest, but you like, as I say, I believe that a lot of the people that go to the game, they're just not as invested in whatever level as some people that spend all day long watching content on YouTube or listening to podcasts or whatever. And I think if those people at the game, are they the sort of people that spend all day long listening to talk?
He does weekly shows with his panel calling out Enoch, calling out higher up, saying where are the transfers? Why aren't they backing the manager more? Why aren't they doing this?
You're talking to the same. That would be talking to the same audience that we talk to.
No, he's got 190,000 subscribers. Sure,
but all of those people,
massive audience.
I hear you, but I'm saying, but all
Sky
of those
Sports
people
has like 2-3 million viewers.
I hear you. But I'm saying
we've got 1,400 smashing up.
All of those people who watch Chris Cowlin, they spend a disproportionate amount of time, and not just Chris, anyone else. They spend a lot of time listening to football and Tottenham related content. I'm saying that the vast majority of people that go to the game might not. So they might not be aware of Chris Cowlin.
They know Chris Cowlin. Everyone knows Chris Cowlin. You ask anyone in the stadium, have you heard of Chris Cowlin? Most of them will say, yeah. If you say to them, do you know Stelios? They'll say, who? Do you know Sava? Huh? Do you know Lubo? Huh? You might get 10, 20. Like at the protest, right? Just imagine. Sorry, Sava.
It was noticed by loads of people on Saturday.
Reality check. Yeah, look, we will get people come up to us, right? We will get people come up to us, but everyone knows expressions. Everyone. That's what I'm talking about.
Still, can I ask you a question? Question. So I don't actually disagree with you here at all. The question I would ask is, for a lot of the people that represent Spurs that go on to Talk Sport, Sky Sports, whatever forum it may be.
Yeah.
The problem I find is that with your argument is I think most of them aren't actually moaning about Enoch, though. If you actually watch, when I watch anybody who rocks up to do the Spurs show with, who's the big guy on that does the Spurs show on Talk Sport?
Majestic MC.
Majestic. Right. Okay. So when I see people going on with him and the guests they get on, I find that they're all very much it's just the manager. It's just the manager, and that's fine. I don't see anyone really going that deep to say, no, what do you think of Thomas Frank at the moment, or what do you think of Ange? I don't see anybody that then goes back and says, listen, we could talk about the managers, but while I'm on here live, can we also please talk about Enoch?
They moan the managers aren't being backed, Saba. They all moan that the managers aren't being backed.
I agree.
This week,
they're not
all
going deep into it, are they?
I think it's incredibly wild that we're sitting here saying that the reason the numbers weren't 10,000 is because of Chris Cowling or Expressions losing.
No, it's not one person. It's everyone.
But Ben and Simmer, we are Tottenham TV constantly they have their personal takes on the owners. I know Ben doesn't like the owners at all. So and that's a massive channel.
The majority of their followers are overseas, Sean. They've got massive overseas. But
that's what I'm saying though. That's the problem. That's the difference. That's what I'm saying. To me, the gap isn't about the online space and not the right people saying the right things. It's about the online space versus real life. And they're two different things and two different audiences.
Do you not think then, if all the people I listed, plus all the people we know, if 90% of us were all banging the same drum, we wouldn't get a hell of a lot more at these protests? Because I think we'd get a ton more if we did. But we're not all on the same page with this, with what we're saying and what we're championing.
No, do you think enough people care about sorry to coin your phrase, Lubo, which I've stolen recently. Do you think enough care, though, about the difference between the micro and the macro still? So as I said earlier in the show, there are so many, like right now, when I get sent 1 million posts a day from X, right? And I haven't seen anyone talking about, excuse me, what's happening? It's the 19th of January. We're in a transfer. I'm not seeing anyone talk about this now. What we've done is everyone's talking about one person. We're talking about Frank, right? Forgetting that whoever the next guy that comes in is.
This market sucks, mate. I don't look at any of the positions that we need to.
I think fans have given up on Frank.
That's an easy get out. That's an easy get out. They've had 4 months. They had the summer. They've had time. This is their job. New Spurs, new change. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to. When your squad is this weak, there are many players that make it stronger. I don't care if it's loans or buys, but we're not talking about it now because we're all just talking about the manager. And again, that's fine. Talk about Frank, but no one's talking about the bigger issue right now that we need reinforcements.
You know who is signing players, Sava?
Man City?
Fiorentina.
There
you go.
I wonder who's in control. See, the other thing as well you get is if you do go to the protest, you get called out for having a season ticket. But the thing is, and I've said this 1 million times, and the same people bring up the same argument, even though I've answered it 1 million times. If I give up my season ticket, who's going to take it? Someone who's Enoch out? Or someone who's on board with this, you lose that voice. So at the end of the game, if there is a protest in the stadium, if there are chants like there were in previous years, we want Levy out. It's me and others that are doing it. So I can influence inside the stadium if others are on board with it as much as outside. So giving up my season ticket basically hands Enoch what they want. They've got thousands on the waiting list. Someone will take my season ticket like that tomorrow. So that doesn't help because if a boycott was somehow arranged, let's say the miracle happens and Change for Tottenham agree that we're going to stand up and walk out the stadium and 10,000 fans agree to it. It's fans like me that are going to be part of that, not someone who I give my season ticket to. So it's a catch-22. What do we do? I can't win in protesting and I can't win inside the stadium either.
This is playing into the club's hands. I'm fully on board with Sava. What Sava's saying here is that this is all a very convenient smokescreen and noise between the manager and this and that and the statement and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, it's the 19th, we've signed one player. And as the comment in the chat before, I was about to say, Sean and I have bigged up Lookman. We couldn't find £1.5 million for a loan for Lookman.
Yeah,
he certainly would have done for us as a loan signing to blow out this squad. Let's be serious, right? He would have added plenty to what we are missing right now, but it hasn't happened. And you have to ask why, when the window closed at the end of September, end of August, that we've had September, October, November, December to plan. And here we are on the 19th. We only signed Gallagher because Bentancur got injured. And we signed a player. Where is the plan of action? Where's the P of A? Where is it? You know, and right now, whilst we're all arguing about ourselves, arguing amongst ourselves, screaming at ourselves and focusing on Frank, we should be focusing on the fact that the club, having only got 11 fit players for tomorrow, we're still not addressing any of the problem by bringing in, even if it's a loan with a potential option. We should be bringing in 2 loans at least right now to try and address the slump.
Johnny,
yeah, loan deals for me are the way to go at the moment. Sorry,
not enough fans are looking at the bigger picture. It's just about what's on the pitch. Where's shit? Get rid of the manager. It's madness. You know, Vinay, what's he doing? Where is his urgency? He is meant to be number one. Vinay, if you're watching this, and I bloody hope you are, fucking pull your finger out and sort it out. Because his club is a fucking mess, and you're number one now, so sort it.
Romero tried to call him out, and you weren't happy. None of you were happy when Romero tried to call him out.
It's not the player's job to call out the ball.
When I see what this club has been and what he's taken it to,
Lubo's allowed to rant, but Romero, don't you dare speak.
What he's taken it to.
Yeah, exactly, Stel. Nailed it.
Madness.
Nailed it. That's right.
Bloody ridiculous.
Romero's speech triggered Vinay to come out with that waffle statement that he put out. It was the most waffle statement I've ever read. Contradictions everywhere.
We just stated facts that we all know. We didn't need a statement to know. We need to get the academy working so that it produces first team players. We need to upgrade the players on the pitch. We need to upgrade the wages. These are all things that Barry or Jeff could have gone and told him without needing to.
Shout out to Barry and Jeff.
I've introduced Barry. Barry's not as well known as Jeff.
Johnny, the thing is, right, as you just said, right, I'm looking every day. You got the Romanos and the Ornsteins posting out, this player's having a medical here, this player's going on loan there, this player's being signed. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, all right, I understand we can't get Guehi and Semenyo in front of Man City. I understand that. I'm not asking for that. But I see, like, last week, just by way of example, I don't want a big debate about the player. Like, Raspadori goes on loan with a 1.5 million fee with like a 20 million buy clause, right? And Atalanta and Roma are both fighting it out for his signature. A 1.5 million loan deal. Then you look at Spurs forward line and go, surely you would have Raspadori in that front three for Tottenham for 6 months.
All day long.
Like I'm not saying, by the way, anyone going, oh, Sava wants Raspadori. You get my point, right?
Yeah.
I just see that.
Oh, wait, nothing wrong with Raspadori if people are saying that, just for what it's worth.
No, I know, he's a good player. But my point is this: again, there's nothing wrong. Like Lubo said there, we're all looking at there's nothing wrong with people looking at Frank and talking about Frank out. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it is very convenient that it's ramped up, right? And it's the 19th of January. And if you sack a manager in the next week, right, straight away that confirms no one's joining. Like, no one is going to join on a permanent for a football club with no manager. If they are, I can only imagine the level of footballer they're going to be. But right now, we are crying out. We are like, Stel, I don't know, we'd had a few drinks between us on Saturday when we had this conversation, but we said we're crying out. If ever a football team in any league is crying out for forwards and wingers, oh my God, it's Tottenham Hotspur. We are crying out. We are bringing on nothing for nothing. Like we are tomorrow going into a game where again our forward line is going to be absolutely awful, and we're doing nothing in the transfer market to address.
There's no noise about it, which is equally frustrating as hell for me, right? Because I'm the king of the transfer waffle. But there's no noise every single day. There's the same names that get banded around. What I would say, I'll bring this. We'll have a quick conversation about the transfer window now, then, because we've got in there for the segment. But for me, I look at the market for the areas that we need specific help, and I would say that the striker market is really dry. We missed a massive opportunity in the summer. In the summer was the most liquid, most fast-moving striker market for years, and a lot of the big teams that needed new players, they got them, and there was still a lot left over. But right now there isn't, and I feel like the same goes with the left winger market. Thomas Frank said a couple of months ago, or a month ago, whatever, he said, we've identified our number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 target ideal profile for every position, and we're working hard to work on them. When it comes to a winger, a left winger, I said this before. I think I said it with you, Johnny, on Football Inc. I think I said it on my own show yesterday. I feel like of those 6 profiles, it's pretty obvious to me who those 6 profiles were, and I think 2 or 3 of them are now injured. Savio, Malik Fofana, for example, both out injured for long-termers. I think 2 of them have probably said that they're not going to leave their club in January, or they don't want to come. They want to go to a team like Liverpool, like Yandy Amandi, for example. And I think the other 1 or 2 are probably priced at such ridiculous levels, or are just or the club is that the selling club is saying that they're not going to let him go for whatever reason. Right, it's too difficult to find a replacement. And so what the concern for me is that if that's just on the hypothesis that that's the truth, right? That the market's fairly dry, it's very difficult, and a lot of the number 1 to 6 on that priority list are unavailable for whatever reason, then you start to have to ask the question of, do you really want your team to go and buy the guy who's number 8 on the list and sign him up to a 5-year contract when we don't really think he's that good? Like, there's a player called Götze from Ajax that we were looking at. Like, if he's number 8 on the list or 7 on the list, and we're going to settle for him at this stage of his career, I don't think he's any better than a Odebear or a Tell. And so I don't really want Tottenham to do that. And so you have to have this sort of trade-off of going, well,
so
what do you do?
Get relegated?
Can I just add?
What would you rather do? Would you rather
end up in a relegation battle like this?
We heard this in the summer that people won't be available. We've got to wait for our. It feels like every window we're just going to push it to. If they're not, listen, can we just say this is their job, right? Paratici, Lang, the scouts, the intermediaries, their job from September the 1st through to January the 1st, their job is this. This is their job, to identify footballers, to be on the blower, speaking to intermediaries, speaking to agents, right? And if you can't get your targets, you need to look elsewhere. Because this whole notion that we can just sit and wait because maybe one becomes available in the summer. What if they... I get what you're saying, Sean. I don't disagree in principle, but we are crying out. And I don't care whether people like Frank or not. It doesn't matter. Because even if a new manager walks in here tomorrow, the options we have got up front and out wide, they are not difficult to upgrade. This is a championship level front three. I will not mix my words. I said it. This front three won't get you out the championship. I will say this. If this front three were playing up front for Coventry or Middlesbrough right now, they are not banging in goals. This is not a difficult front three to upgrade. And the fact that we have not even got one in a forward position by the 19th of January screams of incompetence. But what will happen? Because all the news is now of Frank, all of it is Frank, this is going to get swept under the carpet. And then the second half of the season, or the last 4 months of the season, we're all going to be sitting here going, why aren't we scoring goals? Well,
Can I just add, though, where Sean was going...
Sorry, Joe, 1 second. That championship comment about the front three not being able to do anything in the championship. Manor Solomon scored, 20 goals last season in the championship?
Yeah, but I've seen Manor Solomon do bits at Shakhtar Donetsk. I've never seen Tell or Odebear do anything anywhere. Like,
he's done
there's a huge
Odebear at Burnley actually had very, very good...
Yeah, he had good stats. Can I just say, I found out today... I found out today from like cast iron source, okay, when I said that I was moaning about the club and I said, we ended up with fourth choice Xavi. And I was told, no, you're wrong. I said, no, it wasn't. No, he was choice number 6. He was number 6 on our list. And so where does that put us? When you think that we won Europa League and we are going to be in the Champions League. Johan Lang, as a salesman, selling the pitch to this club, we had to go through 5 other players before we got Xavi. And let's be honest, Xavi was only available because Chelsea couldn't decide between Xavi and Garnacho. And they chose Garnacho and they made the right choice, right? Where are we with all the other players? Now, that was us trying to attempt to sign players when we were in the Champions League and it's all positive. Now we are where we are, sinking. What is the chance of us signing 1, 2, 3, 4,
that's
or
what
5?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Johnny. That's why I said back in December. I said I think this January is going to be a sucky window because I just think that it's difficult anyway. I think that people will always find a reason to moan. If we don't sign anybody, it's outrageous. And by the way, I agree with that. But if you sign the wrong players because they're the only players that you can get, then people will moan about that. The problem is that you then buy these players on 5-6 year deals, and then you're stuck with them like dead wood again. And we're back round and round on the merry-go-round.
Sean, you know the biggest problem here is that there is nobody who knows football that is advising the Lewises. Nobody. Vinay's in a coma, apart from when he pops out every few months to give a statement. What's Lange doing?
No, Lang is in the coma.
He's in a coma. They've had 4 months. Now, Frank came in June. He came out during the transfer window and said that the way he works with transfers is not aligned with the way Tottenham work. So, okay, fine. They went for certain players. They didn't get certain players. You look at that and you think to yourself, it was a bit of a mishmash of a transfer window. Certain things were going on. It wasn't a normal transfer window. You've got a new manager that's come in. Ange got sacked June the 7th, I think. Frank has come in, and they haven't got it sorted. And they've pulled a few players out. They brought 2 of them in as replacements for injuries. But there's no excuse this time because they've had, as Johnny said before, September, October, November, and December. There is no excuse. They knew where we were short. And you could see as it went through from Aston Villa onwards, Everton was okay, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, Fulham, results just got worse and worse and worse. And what have they done about it? We have got the worst. I mean, Harry Redknapp was on TalkSport today talking about how poor our recruitment has been. How poor. And there is nobody telling the people at the top. This is why we need Tottenham ex-pros who know the club, who know football, that should be on that board of directors advising the owners. Because you've got useless people underneath them. They are useless. Sorry, Vinay, useless. He obviously is no chance of him coming on our show now.
Lubo, you're doing my head in. I'm about to explode. I'm about to freaking blow a gasket listening to this. 2 months ago, we had a row on this channel where you told me I'm really excited about the new structure, really looking forward to this new structure. And I sat here saying, where is this coming from? Where does this come from? Because your boy Charrington was here.
Forget him.
We had a row on this, and now you're here.
Sean, Charrington.
Are you watching me?
Right, Sean. Still.
What is happening? What is happening?
Do you know what's happened? I tell you what's happened. We've had a transfer window, right? The team have gone downhill since then. And Vinay has let me down and all of us horrifically.
Let you down? What did they prove in the first place for you to even put them on that? Sure.
He started off, still, the communication with the fans was better. Would you not agree that, Johnny, with Vinay?
One video with Levy.
You wanted communication. We've had more communication, right? Levy wouldn't have set that out, in my opinion.
Levy put a statement out every summer.
Yeah, well, he's made more than one statement. He's already beaten Levy.
Listen, Vinay sat there with Levy. They had a little bromance YouTube in the summer, and people jumped on that. That was the. Do you know how sick I felt watching that video? It was so fake. It was. I really know what it meant to you, Daniel. I remember when we won that Europa. I looked at you and I could feel what it meant. It was horrendous, right? we've brought in an investment banker in Charrington who's going to do all these financial wonderful things. What have I seen? Nothing. Vinay, an ex-gooner.
Behind the scenes, in fairness to him, behind the scenes they've changed massively.
Yeah,
right?
We're spending loads in the window.
Yeah, because you don't see
in this transfer window.
when you do financial. Yeah, but hang on. When you change a big financial institution, right, which is what Tottenham is, right, you don't see results overnight. Still, with respect, I respect to see them on the pitch, but Johnny, behind the scenes takes that bit longer.
The only reason we've signed Conor Gallagher is because we sold Johnson to raise the money.
Yeah,
right? We haven't spent a sausage.
You're 100% spot on. Because I don't believe there is the money. I've said this.
Exactly. So I'm not on board with Charrington. Vinay, the day we hired Vinay, I knew this was a problem. He's got Arsenal in his blood. He was forced to step down from that board because they couldn't agree on the next way forward. So he ended up being ousted, and he's dumped on our doorstep.
Well, it's not quite. That's not true, mate. No.
Johnny. This is my perception. This is
right,
how
I'm saying to you. The fact was,
let me finish what I'm saying. Please let me finish once without interrupting.
Okay, I'm just going to balance off the.
You can counter it with the balance.
Okay,
you can counter it with the balance.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got Joe Lewis's kids. Everyone said, "Yay, they love the club. They really love the club." Mate, who cares? Can you do the job? Can you do the job? I don't care about your love. Can you do the job? And then this whole debacle of Paratici and Lange. And Paratici's now leaving, and we're stuck with Lange. And we're signing Conor Gallagher because it was an opportunity that came available. And we were forced to sell a player to raise the money. And a 19-year-old kid, it's exactly what we need. Another kid, that'll fix us. And then you got Frank, the bullshit Vinay told us. We went through this robust process of analysing all these managers, and our conclusion, our model said, Frank's the man. Mate, I want to see the model. I want to know what they looked at.
Is it the same model they used for Mourinho, for Conte, and for
the whole thing stinks. And as much as I know Frank's not the answer, and as much as I know Frank has got to go, nothing will really progress long term with this lot in charge. I haven't got a single ounce of belief in this current corporate structure. And this was the argument I had with you, Lubo, 2 months ago. 3 months to come up with a transfer approach to help the manager. I said at least give Frank the players to finish up in a European position. At least do that. Mate, Conor Gallagher and a 19-year-old from Brazil. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we swap them out. Just to say about Vinay, right? I hear what you're saying, but the truth is somewhat different. I mean, he was offered the job, the same job, or a very high position job at Newcastle. He was also offered top jobs in private equity and finance in sport. So he is a very, hang on, let me just finish, right? He is a very clever man, right? He's not a bozo, right? And that's why he's got the job. But this mess, this quagmire that we are in is so bad top to bottom because there was a guy who was running this like a Roman emperor where everyone just nodded their head. A guy who hired people and then did their job for them. All of these people are being replaced from top to bottom. And quite honestly, I don't think they're gelled in yet to make this work, this whole thing working. So, you know, I don't disagree with you, Stel, that right now we're not seeing the results. All I care about and all you guys care about is one thing. Well, two things. Investment in the squad, right? And us winning football matches. And right now we're doing none of them, right? So everything else is blamed on the people that have come in. You're quite right. Kids, they're not kids. They're 63 years of age. Where have they been? Where was the care for this club when Daniel was running it? When Daniel Levy, who's now, let me tell you, sat at home laughing his head off, right? Hey, think you can do better without me? Hey, have a good time.
Oh, yeah, it's all Lubo's fault. He blamed me.
Where's that Lubo now?
Vinay isn't a CEO, Johnny. Vinay has never been a CEO. What you described is not the chairman. He's now the chairman. He shouldn't be chairman of Tottenham Hotspur. Vinay should not be in the position he's in at the club.
Because
what you described, maybe. Not chairman, but he's the chairman.
Here's the thing
He's
for me,
got to
right?
make the biggest and toughest decisions, and he hasn't, mate, the one thing I'll give Levy, he fucking makes a decision. I don't know what Vinay does when it comes to decision making. I don't know what
he makes the non-difficult one, which is why I'm surprised Thomas Frank is still here. But I also think that this goes back to that point that
player of the tournament.
Yeah, Lookman. Yeah, seen
Lookman.
that. Goes back to that segue that Sava was sort of finishing his initial point on. To me, guys, I feel like if, as I say, I think Vinay's got a difficult decision here, because if he sticks with the plan, he's abandoning what the fans want, and that in and of itself is going to ultimately redirect some of the question marks towards him, which is what we're all clearly doing already. If he does sack him, it's an admission that the months of 30 candidates, managerial candidates that were shortlisted, and they had to tick every box, and Thomas Frank ticked the most amount of boxes out of everyone we looked at. I want to see what those characteristics were. I know we're never going to see them, but I would love to know in detail who it was that put together this game plan around what it is we're looking for in a manager. Because ultimately, like in any formula in life, any recipe, if you put shit in, you get shit out. Right? That's the way it works. And so I start to question if there was this exhaustive process and Thomas Frank was the identified candidate of choice, who were the others that got chalked off the list for ticking less boxes? What were the boxes that Thomas Frank ticked? And
he was our sixth choice, Sean. That's maybe what happened, huh? Maybe that's
our sixth choice.
Well,
Thomas Frank was our sixth choice.
Like Xavi was our sixth choice. They aren't going to tell us about the 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches that they applied or spoke to who said, no thanks, they're not interested. We'll never know who they were.
Apparently, I've read today, not from anyone that's like noteworthy, but I've read in a few places online that Xabi Alonso was approached in the last 48 hours and he declined. George Sessions said it. And he knows. Is it George Sessions or George?
Why would he come to us?
Why would they?
100%. I'm just saying, one second, just let me finish, get to where I was going. Just quickly. If we can all agree that whether or not it was because Thomas Frank was the sixth choice or whatever, or whether he just ticked more boxes and he was first choice and we went with it, for me, the overarching narrative can't be about money. It wasn't money that restricted us from getting someone better, because we're paying him. Thomas Frank is the fourth most highest paid manager in the Premier League. The only managers that get paid more than him are Slot, Arteta, and Pep Guardiola. He gets the same as Unai Emery, gets a lot more than Iriola, than Glasner, than Eddie Howe, for example, than David Moyes, etc. So it can't have been money that was the factor. And again, if we make that leap from there, saying, well, if you put shit into your equation to figure out that Thomas Frank was the right guy, are you also putting shit into the equation of what your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candidates for every position is? And if so, then you've got to challenge who it is that's making these who's making these decisions? Is it Lang? Is it Rob McKenzie and his scouting team? Is it Vinay? Is it Charrington? Whoever it is, you have to ask a lot of questions around how it is that we are back where we are 6 months after getting rid of Ange. Sorry, Sav, I know you wanted to come in there.
No. I was just going to say, everyone's made really good points, but for me, this always fundamentally comes back down to whatever name of the manager, whatever the name of someone wearing a suit or the title or whoever's making press releases. Yet again, we're not doing what we need to do when it comes to the 2 times of the year when we can change things. We can listen. I agree with Johnny. You're not going to see the results in 6 months. Same could be applied to a manager, by the way. But I agree, you're not going to see the results in 6 months. But the problem with this is we have not done enough to say. They've not done enough to say this is our guy. We're going to back him. Again, forget for 1 minute. Park what everyone thinks of Thomas Frank. Just for 1 minute, right? Forget what you think about him and everyone in the chat, right? If that is your guy and you've brought him in, so far, you've done a really shit job of backing him. So far, you've done a shit job of backing him. Now, is that because players don't want to join us? Could it be that managers don't want to join us? So, for example, when people go, just go and get this manager, what point in our psyche does the football fan brain go, would you join Tottenham if you were just Xabi Alonso, or are you going to go, hang on, I'll wait and see if the Liverpool job or the Bayern job or whatever it is comes up?
In all likelihood, mate, you're either a hero if you get it right, and if you get it wrong, then you're going to get paid off 2.5, 3 years worth of salary in 6 months' time. It's a win-win for every manager that comes to Tottenham, isn't it?
Of course, but this is my point, right? So the more people say, like I hear all the time, just get a winner. What winner, like out and out winner in their right mind, is going to look at Tottenham Hotspur right now and go, yeah, I fancy that 3 or 4 year project of absolutely ripping up this shit show of a squad, this club that's in disarray and starting again. Realistically, guys, you could offer Klopp 20 million a year. At Klopp's stage in his career, is he going to look and go, that's really attractive for me to actually turn that around in 3 or 4 years? I don't think it is. When we're talking about top managers wanting to join us, winning managers, have a look who everyone's hiring. Think about it, guys. Chelsea, their last 2 managers have been Maresca from the Championship with Leicester and now Rosignol from Strasbourg, right? You look at Man United. Man United are now interviewing Solskjaer and Carrick for their interim positions, right? Arsenal took Arteta, who had no management experience. But our fans, those 3 clubs I've just named, are bigger than us, better than us, and win more than us, right? And they're more attractive. Our fans sit here and go, get rid of him, go and bring in this top manager. Why? Why is
I'm not sure the fans of United or Chelsea are particularly happy with where their clubs are at either.
No, it's not about whether the fans are happy. The point is this, Sean, is why are those top managers going to want to, the same way, why would top players want to join us? We're a mess.
Bang on.
We're a mess.
I think most managers will know that at Tottenham Hotspur, if you are the unicorn that manages to do it, then you are going to be a hero. And obviously, Ange did it in one fashion but failed massively in another. But if you were to do it like Pochettino almost did, you're going to be like a legend. I mean, Pochettino's already a legend, and he didn't actually do anything in terms of trophies, right? Which is kind of weird. But you either sort of get that path, or the other path is you come in on 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, whatever it is, £1 million a year. And if it goes the way the previous 15 managers have gone, you're going to do 6 months work and get about 30 million quid in payouts. So like it's a win-win, isn't it?
Okay. So let's say right now, right, you're Xabi Alonso and I'm your agent, right? If someone rings me up and goes, we want Xabi Alonso, what do you think? You'll turn around to me as your agent and go, what do you reckon, Tottenham Hotspur? I'm going to turn around to you and go, no. Like
because he knows that Liverpool's about to become available.
But either way, you're going to take that step and go, hang on, let's have a look at Tottenham the last few years.
I don't think failing at Tottenham spoils your reputation at all, Saf.
Sean, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not saying it is. But these managers know jobs come up now every 3-4 months. They come up. Jobs are coming up now in football. I saw the other day that in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, I think the average tenure of a top flight manager was 4 years. The average tenure now is 18 months. Now, when you add into the fact that a lot of the last 2 decades, the average tenure, Wenger, Klopp, Pep, Ferguson would have raised that bar because they were at clubs for decades. The tenure, shit. So if you're Xabi Alonso, can anyone tell me right now the draw to join Tottenham that isn't financially incentived?
Why are you removing the financial incentive out of it?
No, but because I'm talking about if somebody is looking for a football gig. Because listen, let's be the reason I say financial incentive.
They want the money, Sabra, otherwise they'd do it for free, wouldn't they?
No, hang on. Still, my point is, wherever Xabi Alonso, just using him as the barometer for this conversation, still. Wherever Xabi Alonso goes, he's going to be paid handsomely. We agree, right? He's going to be paid big.
Yeah, he's going to get a good salary.
So right now, what would be if you were Xabi Alonso, what would be the draw to go to Tottenham? You would look at this squad surely and go, you can sit there.
I said to you a minute ago, mate. Put aside the money and the guaranteed payoff. But that is a factor, right? Like the last 6 managers have all lasted they haven't made it anywhere near their full contract. So they all get paid a lot of money. So it's a nice security blanket. Second of all, managers that come here and fail, their reputations are not damaged. Conte went on. No, but that's what but I'm trying to give you the answer to your question, which is where's the incentive? Well, one is your reputation isn't damaged if you fail at Tottenham
because everyone has.
Everyone has. But if you succeed at Tottenham, you are forever a hero of doing what all the other big guys couldn't do behind you. Plus you get the incentive.
So why has he said no?
Because he's waiting for Liverpool, in my opinion.
Can I just
say that to every manager that gets sacked? Can't we say? So why would Klopp say no? Do you think Klopp would come here and think, oh, I'll get a payout in a year, or do you think Klopp's going to go
again? I think there's
Real Madrid.
If you're talking about the very highest managers in the world football, Pep Guardiola, they're only going to go and manage a couple of teams, aren't they? They're only either going to go and manage a Man City, and Arsenal, or Liverpool, maybe a Manchester United.
Who do you think we get? What level do you think we get next?
If Manchester United don't go for Glasner, if something changes in that regard, I think that Glasner would come to Tottenham with the right packaging put in front of him. I think if Liverpool went in a different direction, I don't see why Xabi Alonso would think that Tottenham. Like, how many other teams are there that are a bigger draw than Tottenham in European football? Maybe 20, 25 teams, 20 teams, and not all of them are going to have opportunities, right? How long does he want to be out? How long does he want to wait for the next gig? If there's one that's better, that's likely to come up in the meantime, sure, we'll be down the pecking order like we always are. But I think that there's no. I
wouldn't mind Glasner. I'm not going to complain about it. But you know one thing about some of the comments that have been made, and one of the most common comments is anyone sack Frank because anyone is better than Thomas Frank. Now the problem is, they think sacking Frank will unite the fan base. Well, I can assure you right now, if you go through all the suggestions, whoever they signed, they will be saying, this fan base will be saying, can't believe it. We fucked up again. We bought the wrong manager. We got the wrong manager. He's not the right guy. He hasn't got the experience. You just know it. I just looking at all of the comments in various chats that I've seen. Someone suggests A and they go, he's useless. He's never going to make the grade. There's only one manager. There is only one manager, whether I want it or Jack down the road wants it. Pochettino is the only manager that is out there right now that can somehow bring this fan base back together with a common goal of supporting the club. And he's the only
for
one.
About 3 months.
No, I'm just saying though, Sean. Absolutely, Sean. I don't doubt that. But what I'm saying to you is, everyone you suggest, I keep saying it, anyone's better than Frank. Really? Anyone? Who's going to turn this around with 11 fit players? It's bullshit. It is bullshit. It has to be the right player and the right manager. And as we've seen with Mourinho, with Redknapp, with Conte, they've all failed, mate. They've all failed.
The other thing also, Johnny, is that this comes back to, what are we as a football club? What is the culture of this football club? If we're gonna pick a culture, if we're gonna pick a style of play that Spurs are known for, we don't go down the Glasner route. You go down the Pochettino route.
Johnny, sorry, Lubo. See, this is where our fan base is torn. If we are going to fix this club, if the starting point is what style of football do we want, we're fucked. If that is the starting point, we're in trouble.
Is it really though, Stel? Because I had this conversation with Sean the other day, and I said, if we picked, say for example, we picked a style of progressive football, right? Just not set in stone, but a progressive type of football, and we were buying players for a progressive style of football, then no matter what the failure of the manager, we would still have the semblance of a squad that would fit most of the managers. What we do is flip. We go pragmatic, offensive, pragmatic, offensive. And what we got is players that don't fit this one, then they don't fit that one, then they don't fit this one. So Johnny, I'm just saying, if you pick a style, the semblance of a style, whether it's progressive football, not pragmatic, then surely, Stel, that gives you a chance to be consistent and build something rather than flipping styles.
Right, but listen to what you've said, right? The basis of your argument of having a attacking style of football,
progressive style of football.
The basis of your argument is because you're expecting to hire and fire managers.
No, because that is the way it's always been, mate.
Right, but that's the problem.
Club.
But Johnny, this is the problem. This is why I'm saying the starting point can't be the starting point can't be the style of play. The starting point has to be, what does the club want to achieve on the pitch? Is it continuous top four? Is it we want to win that Premier League? We want to put one Premier League title in that cabinet, or we want to win regular FA Cup.
That's consistency, right?
That's outcome still.
That's
but
outcome.
that's not true.
Let me finish my point. Hold on. Let me finish my point. Then you can all attack it. If you standard, if you know what your outcome is, then you can do the following things. What's the realistic time frame to achieve the outcome? Who is the manager that can deliver that outcome? What kind of recruitment, this ties into what you said, do we need to deliver that outcome? And what kind of coaching network, what kind of scouts do we need to deliver the plays for the football director to assist the manager? I don't think any big organization can truly deliver a culture, a philosophy, an identity, all these things we talk about, unless you know what is the outcome. And that's
the outcome is always the same, though. The desire.
I disagree. I don't think our board have ever had a plan specifically tailored for the outcome.
But do you not understand what I'm saying here?
I think what Johnny, personally, just quickly, I think that Johnny, look, yes, in an ideal world, the outcome is, to win the league, and therefore, from the top perspective, you then say, well, what's he going to take in terms of money? But where I think Johnny's point is more pertinent, with respect, is that if you go from a manager that wants to play attractive front foot football that requires tick-attacker players, and therefore there's less emphasis on structure or on defensive reinforcements, on or a high line to a low line, a back four to a back three. If you constantly pivot like this all the time, you're always going to end up with players that you buy on 5-year contracts that will see 2 or 3 managers in the process. So I think that you need to have. And I just want to let me finish.
Hold on.
Just let me finish the point. I think if you look at what United is doing, even though I disagree with Manchester United's ownership model entirely, I think what they have been doing under Amorim is building towards a certain style, a certain structure of football, a back three with wing backs. And when he came in, part of the reason why Amorim failed was because he refused to pivot away from his strategy, his style of football, despite not having the players to do it. Now that they've gone through most of that transition, he gets pissed off, calls the board out, gets sacked. If Manchester United don't sign Oliver Glasner as their next manager, then they are a bunch of absolute morons.
Because they're going to pivot again.
He's the next natural iteration of what has been built under Amorim. The foundations of a back three, wing back model with attractive football, that sort of thing has been put in place. Glasner comes in, who's a much more well-oiled machine at getting the best out of what he's got to work with. Plus, he has the continuity of what has been built over the last 3 years. Tottenham go from, we said it a million times, to go from Conte to Ange Ball or Nuno in there as well before that. It's just doing this all the time, and you never end up with any players that fit the model. It's madness.
Right, but Sean, I'm not against having that continuity because the academy was restructured for that purpose. That's why Ange came in to play that front foot attacking football, which complements what the academy's been doing for the last 3-4 years. I'm not against it.
What I'm arguing, Frank, who cares more about what someone can do off the ball than what they can do.
Right, but my argument is I don't think that should be the starting point, because you look at Brighton, who have got that continuity, they win nothing, and eventually our fan base will say, right, this is great, looks great, we're winning nothing, can we have a new manager, please? Can we have a new manager, please? There has to be an outcome as the starting point that underpins all of it.
Well, the outcome can't be the starting point, can it?
Yes.
Sorry, can I?
Yes, the outcome has to be the starting point.
The outcome is the end game.
Can I jump in here? Hang on. First of all, when we
get the end game is the outcome, Johnny.
Yes, but you can't
start. That's
there.
what I'm saying. You need to know the destination before you begin the journey. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but hang on. Everyone, hang on.
You're talking about what the pathway looks like.
Yeah, but everyone knows what the end goal is going to be. So it can only be.
Do they?
Hang on. Let me get more than 4 words into it. Right? Everyone knows that the end goal, if you're going to set out a plan to be the best club, is going to be to win league titles and Champions Leagues. But you can't stop with that in mind. You have to have a plan in place of how do we get to a team that is consistent enough, that has a thorough plan, a project, a strategy, a pathway, that we can build over years to get there. Now, if you look at this, certain clubs that have gone the other way around. So Chelsea are the exception to the rule. Chelsea for the last 20, 25 years have just constantly, not so much the last few years, Chelsea just bought top player after top player after top player, changed managers. It didn't matter. You had the best players win, right? Then you've got clubs like Man City. Everyone knows what a Man City type of footballer looks like in general, right? Everyone knows whether a player would suit Guardiola or whether we wouldn't. The next manager that Man City bring in, we know he will be not Pep, because there isn't a Pep, but it will be along the same guidelines. But when you use Brighton as the model, Brighton aren't meant to be winning things. They are a small football club without the resources, without the stature and the history to go and win things. So Brighton are always going to be a club that, by the way, they're on now, right? They're brilliantly run. Everyone knows roughly how they want to play. All the managers they lose, the next manager who comes in is of the same ilk, and it's fluid. Brentford are exactly the same. Everyone knows the scouting model at Brentford, who they're going to bring in. It's scouted brilliantly. And this is my problem. Like, this is why when people go to me, who should the next manager be? Should it be attacking? Should it be this? I don't think it matters until that one guy is brought into Tottenham Hotspur to run football. And I think when that one guy is brought in, i.e., let's just use, for example, let's say Tottenham turn around tomorrow, right? And go, right, Frank's gone. And we go, see you later, Frank. In the summer, Ralph Rangnick and Nagelsmann are joining. And Ralph Rangnick is going to set the tempo of this football club for the next 5 to 10 years. He's going to implement a philosophy. The managers that we sign in the next 5 to 10 years are all going to be roughly of that ilk. The players we're going to bring in are going to all be roughly of that same ilk. Then you start going, I know what a Tottenham player is. I know what Tottenham are. But we can't just say our aim is to win. But how do you do that if you are constantly buying players for this manager, that manager, and they're all so different in their style and their philosophy? Because right now, the next manager that comes in still, if a new manager comes in February, right, that will be the 7th manager who's picked up players from the 6 managers before him of up and down, attack, defend, attack.
How typically Spursy would it be for Tottenham to go out and bring in Xavi Hernandez? And every single fan base goes, what a manager he is. Yeah,
right.
He hasn't got a single passer of the football in the midfield or the forward line.
Exactly, because there's no philosophy. But if you brought in Xavi at the same time as a director of football that plays that way, you say, right,
and yada yada yada. Yeah.
If Vinay came out, I know, obviously that name is like Levy now to Lubo, but if Vinay came out and said, you know what, this is who we're implementing, right? Rangnick and Xavi Hernandez. These are our people for the next 3 to 5 years. They are our people through the ups and the downs. This is what we're going to build. We're going to get rid of the deadwood. We're going to bring in the players that play this philosophy. Be patient with us. Yeah, we're going to have some downs. We're going to lose games. We're going to struggle, but we're going to do well at the end of this. I would go, I'm on board with this. But Spurs have no plans.
So let me ask you this, just quickly.
Can I just show one thing? Can I show one thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
This is, because you talk about Man City. When they took over Man City, right? Here's the article. Man City owner Sheikh Mansour says club's number one target is to win the Premier League.
Sure.
That is the starting point. That has to be your starting point if you're a club that wants to win trophies. That's what he said, not me.
Vinay said that in the
a little bit different when you're the richest club in the world at the time.
You mentioned Man City, Sava. You mentioned him. I'm just bringing up what Man City said.
I said that.
And then say, but.
No, still.
No PSR rules.
Hang on. What's the bit you've left out?
That was their goal. That's what they wanted to achieve with it, though.
But what's the bit you've left out? Could it be that they went
that's the first thing you said, Sava. That's the point.
Could it be that they actually turn around? When you're the richest club in the world at the time, you can say what you want. But they turned around and went, right, who's going to run football for the next decade at Man City?
Yeah, to win the Premier League.
Yeah, but the league.
Our owners have said that. Our owners have said that recently. They said it in the summer. They said it on Saturday's match program.
The league.
So our owners have confirmed my point. Then they've confirmed my point. That's the starting point.
Okay, so they've done it. Now let's focus on the actual specifics.
But everyone can say that.
I'm with it.
It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything if you don't
It
implement
does, because that's what you're aiming for. That's where your vision's set. All your decisions must come back to, does appointing Lange take us quicker and further to getting that target of the Premier League or not? Every decision you make must be aligned to, does it get us to the output? And if the answer is no, you don't sign that player, you don't hire that manager, you don't hire that recruitment officer.
But you have
That's why the output is the key.
You have to implement the strategy. You can, words are great.
To win the Premier League, yes.
I'm bored of hearing we want to win. It doesn't mean anything. You can tell me what you want. If your actions are showing me something different, what the hell does the end goal mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Well, then, exactly. Then you didn't really mean what you said. But in a serious club, they mean it. They mean it. We're not serious at the moment.
But that's the point. When you're talking but this is what makes me laugh, right? You've been sitting on shows for the last 6 months, like many others, going, hate this football, hate pragmatic football. We want attacking football. We're Spurs. Then in the same breath, wouldn't mind Glasner. Glasner's a very pragmatic football manager. So Spurs fans have to. I
think he's a good transitional manager, Sav, on the counter attack. I think he's good.
Okay, but that's not what fans are crying out. That's not what fans have been saying they want.
Yeah, but
right?
you're talking about me. When I say attacking football, I mean someone. Yeah,
you
mentioned me. That's why. That's what I mean by it.
His teams naturally have not a lot of the football, and are very transitional. They are the complete opposite to what fans are saying. We want to see progressive attacking football, right? I've got no problem with Glasner coming in. But if you're going to go from Frank to Glasner and people are going to go, I'm happy with Glasner, we can't then complain if the football with the next manager isn't good.
Sab, just quickly, let me ask this, because we've got these super chats in a second. So quick question, quick answer, and then do the super chats. You said a minute ago, if they came in and said, right, we're bringing in Rangnick and we're bringing in Xavi Hernandez, and it's going to take a long time, we've got to reshape the squad in his image, yada, yada, yada. So whatever happens for the next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be some rough times. We're going to lose games. Be patient, Spurs fans. Stick with the plan, Batman. Yeah. And if that was what was given out to us, you'd be okay with that, would you? Yeah. So would you be okay
if they follow through with it? If
sure.
If they follow through with it, I need to see them. If that happens, Sean, I need to see that when we get to the next window, that the players who aren't good enough go, the players that can't pass go, and then you need to see that the players coming in actually can play that way and will believe in it.
Well, which brings me back to the question that I wanted to ask you guys at the start. If Vinay says no, we've got a plan. And Thomas Frank was the candidate that was selected after an exhaustive process. If he came out tomorrow and said, guys, I know the fan base is really upset right now. We heard the noise, but we believe in Thomas Frank, and we'd ask you guys to do the same. And we're going to back him when we can in the summer. It's a lot easier. January is proving to be very difficult, yada, yada, yada. But, we are going to stick to the plan. If they came out and said that, what would be the reaction from you specifically and from the guys on the panel? And then also, what do you think the overall fan base would do? Would they lose faith in Vinay, or would they say, fair enough?
They'd have to look if they come out and do that again. They can't just say it. This is they've got to show it, because you can say whatever you want. And as I said, I'm happy if Thomas Frank, they said Thomas Frank's our guy, we're backing him. Then the owners are literally saying, hang on, we're gonna take this on our own back. But then we need to see it in the windows. And already we've got to the first window under these guys, and we're seeing absolutely F all. We spent like 3 million quid, right? So we're seeing nothing different. If they come out and say that, Sean, as a fan, we go, okay, you don't like him, I don't like him, who likes him, whatever. Cool, show us.
Or if they come out on February the 2nd and say, look, it's been incredibly difficult this January. This is not on Thomas Frank. We are taking this one on the chin. We tried our best, but it was very difficult. The players we identified weren't available for whatever reason. We apologise. We know it's been a frustrating window. On that basis, we cannot hold Thomas to account. We're going to stick with him until the summer. Would you guys be okay with that?
It's what's left unsaid is the problem. When you leave things unsaid, then all you have left to fill the void is conjecture, right? Is to fill that space.
Poetry, Johnny. Poetry. Huh? I love that. Poetry, bro. That was...
it's
true, though. Spot on.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. And that's where we are. We're, as YouTubers, we're here to fill the void in the silence that is the Tottenham Hotspur board. That is it. That is it. And, you know, you're bang on. If we heard those words, look, guys, this is going to be tough. We're finding it really difficult, but we're not getting
Not
that.
from Romero. Not from Romero. It's got not from Romero.
Should be from the ball, mate.
Not from
Should be
Romero,
from the ball.
because it's
Romero.
it needs to come from somebody of power.
But they're
Romero.
not. That's why he did it, Sava, because they're not speaking. That's why he did it. That's the point. Because they're not speaking. Our border crap.
So Stell, if Vinay came out comes out on February the 2nd and says, look, it's incredibly difficult in January for a number of reasons. Basically, we failed. The club, like the director of football, I failed. It's all on me. Sorry to Frank. Sorry to the players. We couldn't get it done. Therefore, we're going to stick to the plan and we're going to give Thomas Frank our backing until the summer. Are you okay with that?
Let me answer the question he's asked me. Let me answer the question he's asked me. He said, Stell.
Both answer it and then I'll do the super chats. Go on, Stell.
Because to be fair, Luke hasn't spoken in ages, right? For me, he could have put that in that statement that he put out to the club in the matchday program. He didn't put any of that. And the reason he didn't put any of that is because he, along with me and most Spurs fans, thought we're not losing to West Ham. But we did.
Oh no, they're not thinking about one game. They're not thinking about one game.
Saba, if he put out that statement after the West Ham game, I think you're going to see a slightly different statement. He put that out as a reaction to what was going on with the Romero noise, with the change for Tottenham noise, with fans being disgruntled. That statement,
I think we're giving Romero far too much credit here for
him and others combined, Saba. Him and others combined. Listen, it was a talking point. You did shows about it. Sean did. I did. Everyone did shows about it. The point I'm making is he could have put it in that statement, but he didn't. And I think it's because the most toxic we saw it was at the West Ham game. That's the most toxic it's been all season. I don't think they thought that was coming. I don't think that level of toxicity.
That's the question. That's just because I want to bring Luba in as well. We have to also get to these super chats. We've been going for an hour and a half. Would you support if Vinay came out on February the 2nd and said it's on us that the January window has been a frustration? It's been incredibly difficult, and because of that, we can't blame Frank. We're going to stick to the plan. We ask for your patience.
If the results carry on, we're in free fall at the moment, and this is the most important thing. If the results carry on the way they're going, and Vinay came out with something like that on February the 2nd, he should hand his notice in straight away. Land should go as well. Finished. The pair
I agree.
Of them,
I agree.
They are bloody useless, the pair of them. Because what do you Vinay's coming out with all these fluffy words. We're nosediving down the league at the moment.
Yeah, we're about to be one place lower because Bournemouth are currently beating Brighton. So.
Interesting. It's funny because I want to see the back of this goalkeeper, and I see the news that from Fabrizio Romano that Marc-Andre ter Stegen has left Barcelona on loan to go to Girona.
Gutted.
I don't know. He's not the
Mate,
same
he's
player.
better than Vicario. Come on.
He's a million levels above Vicario.
Loan.
But he's not. I'm still not sure he's the best. Fair enough. All right, let's get some super chats done, guys. Big up to everyone. Sorry for the wait on this one. Robbie Brown, big up to you, Rob. Has started the super sticker train, and with the first sticker train, you get the choo-choo sound. Big up to you, mate. Choo-choo to you. Thank you very much indeed for the generous super chat, Robbie. I hope you're okay, my man. Emma Morton, big up to you. Emma has said, this is for Sava. Lol. Evening, everyone. There you go. Sav, put it towards the scarf fund.
Cheers.
Scarf.
Big up to you, Emma. Appreciate you very much indeed. Sanilla32, very, very generous, says, evening all, great to see you on Saturday. I felt for those organising the gathering, so many people want what we want, but for one reason or another, don't want to show solidarity together. We are stronger standing as one.
Can I say, that's brilliant. Not a protest, but a gathering. I love you.
The shindig. It felt more like a shindig, didn't it, down the pub or whatever?
I think there were more people.
It's so true. It's so true.
I think there were more people at the FHTV barbecue, Lubo, that we had in the
There were certainly more people in the 8 bar than there was outside the corner pin, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was.
Big up to you, Snell. Great to meet you, my man, briefly as well, buddy, at the end there. Thanks very much for your support of all the shows that you frequent, my man. Big up, and thank you very much for the generous super chat, mate. Big up to Chudini, always supporting every channel, always pops in with a, hey, listen, your wife, mate, you need to stop for a couple of weeks. Just take your wife to a slightly higher level of restaurant.
He's on bread and water, mate. The amount of super chats that
Nando's again. Why, Dean? Why? Oh, I've got to support those bloody YouTubers.
He's like the Harry Kane of
he's always putting it between the posts.
Is Harry Kane still coming back, Lubo? He's still coming back.
2027. Call into hours. LDITK. Still says he's coming back.
Big up to you, Chudini. Thank you very much indeed, my man.
Change his mind in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, move the goalposts again. Logan THFC, another one with a super sticker. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Choo to you, buddy. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone. Phil Coys has said, just a suggestion: can the panelists not put their points across about the club on TalkSport and Sky Sports, etc., or do you choose not to?
We're not allowed on.
I've never been invited. I've only ever done Al Jazeera.
Oh, I did get called out, actually. I did get called out on TNT Sports when I had 30 seconds with Peter Crouch to put my point across about the game. And then afterwards, I had about, I don't know, literally 30, 40 messages from people calling me cop out. You never shouted Levy out.
Imagine the comments on TalkSport if Sava and I went on there. Just imagine the comments if we were honest. What would happen?
Big up to you, Phil. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, listen, if they want to expand their profile of commentary, I'm sure everyone on the panel would be up for it. But they got their guys. It's fine. And good luck to them all. Polo Levu. Haven't seen you before, my man. Very, very cool name from Australia. What's that shirt? Is that Fiji? Is that the Fiji national team or rugby team?
No, that's that's a football shirt. I know it's Armbro, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the actual badge. It looks like it's a palm tree on the badge. Don't know. Either way, big up to you. It's a nice name as well, my man. And he's in Australia. He says, "Would Frank win last season's Europa?"
It's the Australian rugby kit, Sean. Sorry, New Zealand rugby kit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
fair enough. Big up to you, mate. He says, "Would Frank win last season's Europa with last year's squad?" Love from Fiji blokes. Frank win Europa with last year's squad.
No.
Yeah, I think anyone wins it with last year's squad. It was an awful tournament. Yeah.
Shocking, mate.
Sorry, so we don't think we're saying that the defensive manager that everyone hates couldn't have stunk out the semi and the final the way that Ange did.
I don't think Frank gets past Bodo.
No, I don't think so. I think Ange motivated the players with his pre-match team talk. I honestly don't think that
motivated them to put 10 men behind the ball.
Well, one thing we know about Ange, he can put the right words in the right order to say something inspirational. I don't think Thomas Frank would go, these guys, the big day, try, work better.
I think we would.
Where's the wig? Get the wig out. 26% possession. 26.
I think Ryan Mason could have won it. It was that easier route. I think Ryan Mason could have won it.
I don't think Frank could have coped with no Kulu, no Madison, and no Bergvall like Ange did. Because
neither could Ange. Lost 22 games in a season without them. Apparently, that was the. Right.
Well, if you look at the first leg of the quarterfinal, semi-final, we're actually very attacking. It was the away games we were defensive.
Yeah. Anyway, big up to you, my man. Big up to you, Mr. Fiji. Come back again, buddy. Come back again. Nice to get to know you. Official Shawn Michael, sexy boy. He says, this might be ignorant of me, but what exactly does a director of football do between September the 1st and January the 1st if it isn't planning transfers?
Lunch and travelling.
A lot of golf. Mate, it's a good gig, isn't it? It's a great gig.
A lot of networking
in the game.
Lots of holidays.
I've got a lunch and a dinner, and I've got to go to Qatar to support the club.
And then you leave the club. And then you leave the club when the window starts.
Yeah.
Who loses? What CEO loses a director of football during a transfer window?
Can I just say something?
He's still here.
Something that's very funny that my son pointed out to me yesterday. He said, when it looked like Thomas Frank was going, he said, there was a joint statement made by Thomas Frank that between Thomas Frank, myself, and Fabio, that they'd made the decision that Brennan Johnson was no longer part of the setup moving forward. They sell him, and those two very people who made that decision are likely to be out the club before the window is complete.
Yeah,
you couldn't write it.
It goes back to my question, mate. I want to know who it is that's profiling, who it is that's doing the scouting, who it is that is putting in the input factors to get what we're getting on the other side of the equation. Because all we seem to be signing is square pegs.
ChatGPT.
Well, whatever it is, it just doesn't like it. I honestly, you've got to question the kind of who's.
I think we'd have more success if we got someone in from the FBI who was looking at serial killer profiling. We might have more of a chance of getting the right manager, because we can't get it right at all.
Yeah, but don't forget, Johnny. Don't forget that the statement was that Paratici's still here to help us with this window, as we're sitting here on the 19th of January with one midfielder out, one midfielder injured, one midfielder signed. Like,
meanwhile, he's done 3.
You mean what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's mental.
That's outrage. He doesn't even care, does he?
Harrison's the latest, I believe, from Leeds.
Yeah. And to be fair, he'd get in our team right now. That's how bad our team is. He'd get in our team.
Mate, Manor Solomon would get in our team, but that's another story. No dickhead.
Shoppy G says, no dickhead policy is nonsense. Our team is powder puff, nice boys who get bitched around by teams. Zlatan, Michael Jordan were dickheads because they demanded winning mentality and toughness, not weakness.
Genius is flawed.
Tell us what you really think.
It's true, though. Genius is flawed. Sometimes you've got to deal with the dickhead in the room.
I think there's different types of dickheads, right? Cristiano Ronaldo is probably a dickhead because of his expectations. Same sort of thing as Zlatan and Jordan. But I don't know. There's other types of dickheads that just think that they're bigger than they are. And like I say, there seems to be no consequences. There seems to be no consequences for dickhead behaviour. Let's be honest. There's been a lot of dickheads in our squad this year, acting up, disrespecting the manager, and they haven't had any consequences at all, apart from Yves Bissouma. If I'm him, I'm looking at the double standards and thinking, what's going on? Big up to you, Chop Cheese. Phil Coy's come back in again, says our reputation as a club has massively dropped year on year, and that has filtered around players and managers around the world. Spurs, F that.
Yeah.
I think maybe more so for players, but I still think the managers will come to Tottenham because, like I said, I think it's a win-win. I think you're going to get paid off if you fail, and it's not going to damage your reputation. But if you win, you're a hero and you're the unicorn. Jerome 2114 says Alonso took the Leverkusen job knowing well that this club failed year after year to win a trophy. If we were to give him the incentive and the money as well as backing, why would he not come to us?
But that was his starting point as a manager, wasn't it? That was his building block. Now he's got a reputation. He's got choices.
Has the Real Madrid failure damaged his reputation? Maybe he needs to come back down off that perch.
With a 74% win ratio and then gets sacked. And what happens? Arbeloa takes the first team and they lose to a 17th place second division team. Yeah.
That's true.
Be careful what you wish for.
That's your answer.
Yeah, it's true. Go on, Lubo. Sorry, mate. You said something there?
No, I was just saying, good job. Good job. You know, player power, and the fans evidently booed Vinicius Junior, who started the whole thing with Alonso, and apologised to everybody at the club except the manager, who was the one person he should have apologised to. So good job. I hope Barcelona kill him in the La Liga.
Me too.
Jerome comes back in again, says we keep calling out the players, but last season the narrative was with a proper coach, Frank. Then this team should be higher up. What went wrong then?
Over to you, Lubo.
No. I'll answer it.
I'm joking. I was going to answer that. I'm joking.
Everyone keeps saying it's the same team. It's not.
It's not.
Right, everyone keeps saying this is the same team. It's not. It's lost all of its goals, all of its assists. As I said, Frank will go. It's time for him to go. But let's not pretend when people are saying this is the same team. Let's not pretend if Maddison, Son, Kulu and Solanke had played every game this season that we wouldn't be 6, 7, 8, 9 points higher up the table, because we would. It's just basics. We would. Doesn't mean we're amazing. Doesn't mean the football would be great. but those players would have goals, would have assists, and we would look much better. I don't know why that's honestly. I think it's such a criminal opinion that James Maddison makes us better, Son makes us better, Kulu makes us better. Like, I don't know than what we're seeing. I don't know why that's so crazy. But
I think we brought in Xabi Simons was supposed to be better than he has been. Kudus was supposed to be better than he has been. Moani was supposed to be better than he has been. We have brought in forwards to cope with those absences, but they just haven't landed yet.
Not with the same profile though, right? Like we when you sign Kudus, you're not signing a natural goal scorer. So if you buy Kudus to do the job on one wing of what he does, you've got to go big on the other wing and bring in a goal scorer.
Well, true.
Bringing in Moani as a panic in the last 4 hours of the transfer window for me doesn't really scream of he should be doing better than he's doing. It screams of he had nowhere else to go. And look at the way he don't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here
that two things can be true at the same time, though. He also is a better player than what he's shown at Tottenham.
100%.
Right? So most people, when he came in, the expectation was, that's not a bad.
Sure, but a lot of people worse. Listen. Not me. I'm not really bothered either way about Moani. There are a lot of people saying you do not want that guy. He's not going to be switched on. He doesn't care. Listen. All I know is if we had that front four from last season, we'd be doing a lot better. It doesn't have to be that front four, but this is why we are desperate. We are desperate for forwards. We are desperate for wingers.
What Jordan says here is absolutely spot on. All of our acquisitions, basically, apart, I would say, from Paulinho, in my opinion, have been immensely disappointing.
Yeah,
I really am disappointed with a lot of them. And what Jordan's saying here, that this month we have sold Johnson and Richarlison and Kudos have got injured. Solanke is the only just back from injury. It's appalling that we have done nothing to address the forward line. The focus shouldn't be all on Frank. Somebody else has to take the blame. Frank is the easy fall guy for it all. But we've said before, Sean, it's the oldest one. Everyone needs to take a slice of the blame pie. And Frank is taking the biggest slice, but there's lots of others to blame.
That's a fair comment, Johnny, actually. That's a fair comment. I agree with that.
Jordan, mate, thank you very much for that one, buddy.
When I sit there and say it's time for Frank to go, no one believes me. Then anything I say for the rest of the show, all I get in the chat is Frank apologist. I've said he needs to go for a number of reasons. This manager needs to go. But my biggest concern, I know people can only see through like a little lens. My biggest concern isn't about Thomas Frank, who's going to get paid off millions and millions of pounds. My biggest concern is what happens the other side. Does anyone here trust what Vinay and Lang are going to do the other side? And can I just ask the question, what happens? Everyone's just assuming it's all Frank. What happens if a new guy takes over as interim for the rest of the season, can't buy a win for love nor money, and then we go into a relegation battle? What happens?
Big Sam.
I think you stated it. Personally, I said this to Sean, right? If there's no option, if there's no plan B, then you muddle it out to the end of the season and then you make your big choice in the summer. You go all in right now. You start appointing, talking to the clubs, the managers now at the clubs that are all at the World Cup, and you make your pitch. And you say, look, you're going to have 150, 200 million pound. We're backing you and we want you here and we're going to pay you X.
But Johnny,
that's the only way I see forward.
Johnny, what happens? We get beaten at Burnley. Then we've got City.
I don't believe we're getting relegated. Hang on. Wait
a minute. We've got City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Fulham away. Then we got Palace at home. Then we're at Anfield.
Yeah.
How many points out of that lot are we going to get?
Probably maybe none.
Maybe none. Yeah.
Johnny, do you know what? I think we have to get rid of Frank for his sake and for the current environment at the club. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. Do you remember when Arteta... I agree with you. Do you remember when Arteta went through that really rancid period and there was no fans in the stadium because of COVID?
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when you've got the fans in the stadium. This is going to boil over to a point of where you're just going to destroy any environment we've got.
Who do you bring in? I don't disagree with you.
Great question, and I don't know the answer. I would have said
that is the point. That is.
Yeah,
I just
but there's got to be an answer, right? There's got to be an answer,
You're
right?
right. And that's why Lange
Still.
and Vinay get paid the money to answer that question.
I agree.
I can tell you who I think I would bring in.
No, I agree. Still, I've said, right, I know no one in the chat listening, I've said I think it's the right time for him to go, and I agree with you. Not just for us, for him as well. And I actually think he'll go on and have a good career somewhere else at a club which is more settled, isn't as high profile as Spurs, where he's not under such scrutiny, right? But the big question is this: when people are saying just get anyone, can't just be anyone, right? Like if you're bringing in an interim manager between now and the end of the year, right? Everyone's saying that the players are better than they are. Then that means that the interim manager that comes in, he's going to have 16 games. Let's assume he's sacked tomorrow night, right? If he's sacked tomorrow night after or Wednesday after Dortmund, the new manager's got 16 games to come in, right? It will go one of two ways, right? It will go nosedived, or we'll get that new manager bounce and see us to safety. Now, we've seen clubs this season still that have got new managers. Nothing's changed.
Right.
Nothing has changed. Most of them, right?
I'll tell you what we need.
So who's the guy?
Need a manager.
Can we finish this quickly because I've still got 9 more super chats. Finish your point. I've still got super chats to do. So go on, Stel, finish your point. And then.
No, I was going to say we need a manager that's going to come in and tell these players, even if it's a lie, even if it's a myth, tell them you're not shit. You're not bad.
All I ask is who, Stel. No one can give me the answer.
Johnny, I don't know what manager is like that has that skill set. Redknapp Harry Redknapp was that guy. I wouldn't bring him now because he's 80 years old. Right?
Yeah.
But
would you not bring him in? Would you not bring somebody like this is going to be controversial and people are going to shoot me down? But just between now and the end of the season, would you not bring Mason back?
No. Sacks, mate. What are you talking about?
No, not Ryan Mason.
With Redknapp.
Here's the problem, though, right? Here's the problem. You look at Brighton. Look at teams like Brighton and Brentford. They have succession plans all the time, right? Even if they've got a manager that's really happy, like if they're happy with De Zerbi, they know that at some point De Zerbi's going to get poached, and then they know who the next guy is, and they probably know who the guy after that's going to be as well. They know who the next centre midfielder is. Like, I'm sorry, but like these guys, their days can't be that busy. The director of football's days can't be that busy where they're not sitting down and going, by the way, what is our succession plan if things go tits up with Thomas Frank? Like, what is the plan B? And even if you have to make a change 3/4 of the way through the season, knowing that you have to get to the end of the season, like surely at some point these people have to think about these things as part of their job. But yeah, it always seems like and this is the same under Daniel Levy, by the way. It always feels like what a goal that is, just to finish off to equalise for Brighton. Surely, like it should be transparent that over the years Daniel Levy sacks one manager and then doesn't know what to do next, right? But when Conte threw his toys out of the Prem and he had to go, what would it be? Stellini, Mason, whatever it was. Absolute, it's chaos because there's no plan until you need a plan. It always looks like we're just winging it. And I think that to me, like
we are going to wing it.
But these guys are paid a lot of money to know the answer to that, and they don't know it. Right?
You're absolutely spot on, and it's why we're constantly in turmoil. But from now until the end of this season, they're going to have to wing it, and they're going to need that period to put a proper plan once and for all in place for this club. A proper plan.
We agree, though, that the summer. We can definitely, like, if we were in the summer now, no one would have any problem saying the 1, 2, and 3 of the managers we would like to get right this moment, right? As we stand right now, I don't think any of them are realistic to take over at this club, personally, right now.
Yeah, I don't know what. Listen, we'll come back to that. Let me just get these things done. Big up to everyone, by the way. Ulrika Carr, Ratatata says, Levy's last public comment before being sacked. Our aim is to win the Premier League and the Champions League. It was an IED, knowing he was being sacked. Listen, my chairman.
What's an IED? Sorry to be.
IED is a mine, isn't it?
Yeah, incendiary explosive device or something.
Yeah.
Big up to Ulrika. My chairman. You never know what you got until it's gone. Spurs fans only accept a plan that includes.
We're seeing it now, Sean.
What's that, Luba?
We're seeing it now.
Exactly. Yeah, bring my chairman back.
We're seeing it now. We're seeing what he's left us in the shit.
No, we're seeing. Yeah, no, we're seeing
what
the alternative looks like, Luba, and it's not much better. Spurs fans only accept a plan that includes proactive football. Maybe they think pragmatic football is the only way we can have success. Well, listen, a massive part of the puzzle is to keep the fans happy, and at Tottenham, part of that is
stop flip flopping.
About any enjoyment experience. Big up to you, Adam. Thank you, my man. Michael, excuse me, Michael Ayandukan. Sorry if I butchered your name there. I'm not even sure what that CLP currency is, but thank you very much. Is that Cypriot pounds? I don't know what it is. He says we must be.
This is in the Euros.
Oh, is it? Okay. We must be a team that controls possession. Xavi in. So you want Xavi Hernandez? Yeah, you let Xavi loose on these players. I don't think that will work.
I'm all for his statement, but to be a team that controls possession, you can't just get Xavi in. You need to go and buy 2 or 3 midfielders that actually have possession of a football. It can't be one without the other. You've got to do both. It's got to be the players and the manager if you want that style of play.
Well, the breaking news was Spanish coach Xavi Alonso and his representatives of Tottenham have today come to an agreement. They both agree that Tottenham are shite.
Yeah. It was Chilean peso. For those of you who weren't aware, Chilean peso is the.
Chilean pesos.
Big up to the viewer from Chile.
Big up to the Chile viewer. Yeah.
Big up.
Very nice.
We used to have one from darkest Peru, so it's good to be, stay in the South America.
I think he was from Bishop Stortford. He was
just hanging out in Peru at the time.
Hanging out in Chile, hanging out in Peru.
Revolut account.
Big up to the South. Big up to the South American contingent. The 2 marks show. Big up. We never know which one of the marks it is. They were both there on Saturday, apparently. But big up to Mark. Whichever one it is, put in the super sticker. Big up to you, Mark. I hope you're okay, mate.
One made his mark.
Big up to you, buddy. Spurs syndrome. Big up to you, my man. He says protesting with 200 folks is pointless. Stop going to the games. I'm sure they'll start taking notice with a half-empty stadium week in, week out. I think they started to see half-empty stadium. At least in the Champions League, it was pathetic numbers. The north tier or the top tier of the East and West Stand were empty for most of those games. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Shawn Michaels back in again. Sexy boy says, I think we actually going down.
If we lose to Burnley, then it's on. Then
squeaky
it's really
bum time,
on.
yeah. Squeaky bum time.
If we lose to Burnley, it's on.
This time last week we were saying, guys, the season's over. The season's done. It isn't done. There's a new variable that's entered. Yeah, it's the worst variable.
It's exciting. I can't believe I'm going to
something to worry about.
Battle.
Fucking hell. Big up to you, Shawnee. Chop Cheese come back in as well, saying, do you agree our team is weak and gets bossed with zero bollocks?
Games,
yeah. I'd agree.
Most games,
yeah, 100%. User Whole Spurs, big up to you, my man. He says, walking around the East Coast in my Spurs top, got ribbed all the time with the same context. What happened to Spurs, they ask. The East Coast of where?
USA's got to be. Unless
USA?
He's at the East Coast of UK.
He might be over in Norwich, but he's trying to disguise that he's in Norwich.
It's in Hull.
The East Coast of Hull. Oh, okay. The East Coast of Hull.
Hull. Is it Hull on the East Coast?
It is. It is, Johnny.
Yeah.
I never heard anyone talk about like our country, like East Coast, West Coast,
especially in all Grimsby.
In London, we live in a bubble. Like we don't know how other people speak.
People in Wales talk about the West Coast like it's amazing, and it proper West Coast action. Big up to you, man.
Aaron Bowen country.
Oh. Yeah. Russell Coit says, did you see the players standing around Frank's iPad? Never seen a more disinterested bunch. Simmons rolled his eyes and walked off. He has no respect. Mate, there's a lot of disrespect going on. Simmons doesn't like it. Jed Spence doesn't like it. I don't think Romero rates it. I don't think Richarlison rates it.
They don't want to see Angry Birds. They don't want to play Angry Birds, right, during the game. Right? Hey, Thomas,
guys, I'm trying harder. How do I get the proper?
What's the bonus? How do I get the bonus? I'm trying to play the game. Stop with the fucking iPad.
Mate, the quality of Simmons through balls on the weekend was shocking.
Oh my
absolutely
God.
shocking.
He looked like £5.50 Xavi from down the pub. Honestly,
mate, and he bottled every 50-50, man. Like, honestly,
he did.
And I rate him. I've said he's a good player.
I think he's lost. I think he's disinterested. NSG, big up to you. He says, this is from Denmark. Big up to you. Big up to the Dane crew. I don't like the idea of finding a manager in the summer with the World Cup, shorter window, inflated prices due to World Cup and shorter pre-season. We will be in a mess. Yeah, but I think there's also a bigger supply in the summer, mate. When the World Cup's done, there's a lot of club managers that took a little time out to do World Cup things, and now they want to get back into it. Not just Poch, but there's lots of them.
I think you can talk to a manager. This is what I'm saying now. If you believe you're going to get rid of Frank, you start talking to those managers now. And after the window closes in January and February, you start working on the players that this said manager, if he says yes, you start making the plans to try and acquire those players first and foremost. That's called forward thinking and forward planning and succession planning. Unfortunately, it's something that this club has never been able to do.
Never.
100%. Whole Spurs is back on the East Coast. He says, okay, guys, what's your thoughts? Are we heading for a relegation battle? For me, I believe we are with this mess.
I think
I agree. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we could be. I think everyone's right. If we lose to Burnley, it's
the only reason we're not in a relegation battle was probably because the other three teams aren't capable of winning enough games. Like, we're all bad.
Like last season.
It depends if Nuno can start getting a little tune out of West Ham. If he can get an uplift from West Ham, then the answer is yes. If he can't, and the weekend was just a one-off, then no. It's good. I think it depends more on West Ham than us, if I'm honest with you.
David Sullivan has actually got his hand in it.
West Ham have to win 4 more games than we do with 16 to go. So whatever we win, if we win 4, West Ham need to win 8 of their last 16.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
I can't see us winning. I don't know where we're getting the next win from at the moment.
David Sullivan has actually got his hand in his pocket and he's pulling out the money from Declan Rice at large and spending the money.
To be fair, at least they've gone and bought 2 attacking players to supplement their forward line.
Exactly.
Where are we?
Can I ask
where are we
you
getting
guys?
4 wins from still? Where are we getting 4 wins from this season?
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm agreeing. I'm saying, but West Ham have to catch us first. Is my
I think
point.
he got us confused there, Stel. I think he got the 2 Greek people confused. If I'm completely honest,
we all look alike, right?
Racist.
Can I ask you guys, when you watch the game against West Ham on the weekend? Because listen, if we get into relegation fights because they sort themselves out, because Wolves and Burnley for me are done. Did West Ham look like a team to you?
Oh, they're shit.
That's a relegation side, because I thought they played all right. I thought they played okay, defensively pretty solid.
Offensively, really solid, yeah.
And when they did counter attack, they weren't shabby. They weren't shit.
We are so poor.
Still, I think.
But they didn't look like a relegation side to me, is what I'm saying. Or did you get that vibe or not? Or did you think
yeah, I thought they were shit, to be honest.
I think
some of it looked like it was pretty good.
Better than ours. I think that
Some of it looked like prime Messi. Guys, can we just
that Fernandes in the middle? For me, he controlled a lot of their play. He was a really good. Watching him play, I thought this is a nice player.
He is a good player. He's a good player. Guys, just got to finish the super chats off. We've been doing it for half an hour. We still haven't got Jerome 2114 again. Big up to you, my man. He says my biggest fear is we sack Frank and put his assistant as head coach, Heitinger. This guy in charge, then we are getting relegated.
100%.
I don't know anything about this Heitinger guy, really. We spoke about him last week. Ajax guy, don't know. But
as a manager, he's a disaster.
Does he mean Heitinger or does he mean Cochrane?
Cochrane's been a massive disappointment, isn't he?
Heitinger. Okay.
And a user 4872, big up to you, says Van der Ven refusing to sign whilst Frank is in charge.
I don't think he's signing regardless of who comes in. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah, he wants out.
He wants out. Tottenham. Yeah, I think he's done with Tottenham.
Big up to everyone there for the super chats, guys. Well, we are at the 2-hour mark, but we've got just 2 more topics to briefly talk about. We'll have to go through them pretty quick. Big up to everyone there. The questions are, Dortmund, what are we supposed to do with our squad? It basically picks itself, doesn't it?
Panic.
Should we do a foot mob thing?
It's going to be the weakest. It's going to be the weakest 11 I think I've seen Spurs put out in a proper game for years. Look at the midfield too. Look at the midfield too. It's going to be Bergvall.
Hang on. What did Harry Redknapp say about Archie Gray?
Lubo, let's talk seriously. But we're playing Borussia Dortmund, who have lost. Borussia Dortmund have lost 3 games since August, right? And that is against Man City, Bayern Munich, and Leverkusen. Their midfield is going to absolutely gobble up that midfield. And then you add Simmons in, who's just as weak as well. And then you look at the wingers are going to be Odegaard and Mawani. It's just a weak. There's no quality in that 11. There's no quality in there.
Do you know what I think the biggest problem is going to be, Saba? I actually think we're going to have this period where the adrenaline's rushing, the fans will get behind the team, and we'll actually do okay. Where the problem's going to be is when we have to make a tactical substitution. I think Solanke's getting injured because we're rushing him back and we're starting him. I think this is a big mistake.
100%.
And I also think that 1 or 2 players won't have a good game, so we're going to have to take them out. When you look at the bench for this game, absolutely fucked or beyond all recognition.
in hospital.
I don't blame Frank for that. Huh? That bench is going to be shocking.
SARS in hospital. Yeah.
With what?
He was ill after the game. He was warming up.
Are we supposed to put in the 10 then?
Yeah, he was.
Xavi Simmons.
No, Simmons is injured.
No, he's playing.
Simmons is
playing.
He was in the press conference.
He didn't train today, did he?
Well, I don't know. He probably needs.
No,
he's having a painkilling. He's having a painkilling injection to get him into the game.
Yeah, but maybe it's a pain in the freaking arse because he
said he's having to play because we've got no other footballers in the football club that aren't 8 years of age.
Guys,
so I thought a virus.
Players coming off with injury from this game. I promise you, we're going to have injuries.
Still, what do you do? What else do you do?
You do this? Do you let this fella do it?
Can I just add that Borussia Dortmund have lost 1 game only in the Bundesliga this season? So this should be fun and games.
Mate, they're a good team.
I'm not even sure if Archie Gray trained today, guys, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did train. I saw him with Bergvall.
They said Archie Gray's going to have to. They said that he's got a slight pain, but he's going to play through it. So he'll go off injured. He'll be off at half time. Solanke's going to break down because this is a stupid idea that we've done, rushing him back.
Yeah, swapping.
All right, so do you go to a back 3 then and put Romero, Dragusin, and Danso in?
Dragusin's ineligible, Sean. He's not.
Dragusin's ineligible.
I don't think he's matched.
No, we got no one, right? All I want to know is who is on the special teams to come on to take the throw on. Forget the team that's starting. I want to know who's on special teams. Bergvall, I mean, honestly, the guy dropped the ball on his head. Sean and I were watching the Irish bird who can throw it like an exocet missile, right? With woman's arms, right? And we've got Bergvall, who's pretty solid. He can't throw the ball. I mean, it's a waste of time.
Johnny Danso can take a long throw.
Yeah, well, do we just bring him on? Do you know what I would do?
I actually think that long throws are the way to get something out of this game. Not that we're going to score them, but the fact that it takes 2 minutes for us to organise them before we throw it, we might end up chewing up some time on the clock. Because I
put at left centre back? You're going to laugh when I say who I put at left centre back. I would actually play Jed Spence at left centre back and Destiny at left back. Because Jed has got the pace. Who else are you going to put? Are we going to put a square peg in a round hole again?
Yeah, Danso was terrible against Newcastle when he went on left.
You can't play it. He can't play at left back. At least Jed's got the pace.
Hang on, Frank, listen, no manager's going to leave out their only other fit centre half, are they?
Well, we've seen how bad he is playing left centre back, Danso. He ain't good.
Yeah, but he's also come in and had some really good performances.
Oh, yeah. No, he has on the right when he's replaced Kuti.
I don't want Jed Spence. For me, is far too lackadaisical to play centre half. He really.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're playing, it depends unless you play the 3.
So who is going to be on the bench then? If that's our 11,
all the kids.
It's all the kids.
Let me tell you, Solanke was more like so wanky when he came on, right? He had 20 minutes or whatever it was. And I mean, he came short once. he's nowhere near more than 45 minutes. And even that's a push when you say, Stel, having been out for months.
He couldn't chase through balls on the weekend. He looked absolutely knackered. He needs a couple of games.
Begs the next question. What on God's green earth was Thomas Frank doing taking Matisse Tell out of the
I don't know. That's just a mystery to me. Mystery.
You know what?
Matisse Tell's been arguably our best player in the last 3 weeks.
I understand.
I know it's a low bar. I know it's a low bar, but at least he tries. He works hard. Like, would you rather have a 20% fit Solanke or a 100% fit Matisse Tell?
Sean, why can't you have both? Why can't you have both and take someone else out?
You can't do
that.
You can't.
Still, you can't.
You either keep the substituted player or you bring back the player that was.
You have to restart.
Oh, because they were swapped in the first place.
Yeah. Do you know how many people messaged me today? Do you know how many people messaged me saying, "Wow, why wasn't it Odeburn?" I'm like, no, please go and read the rules. He couldn't swap Odeburn but.
Look, but you can put Solanke back in after the league phase, right? So just for these next 2 games, you let Tell play it out, and then if I assume we're going to be in the playoffs, then you bring Solanke back in then. And by the way, you then take out Bentancur and whatever else, right? You bring in Gallagher, all the other changes that you can do. But like for these next 2 games, what was he thinking? Solanke's not fit.
I think he kept Mawani because he got those 2 goals against PSG, and he's maybe thinking for the big game he might step up, right? Maybe he's basically gone for Solanke because he's an actual striker, and he's decided to go with Odebert ahead of Tell. That's what he's done.
But why not do it after this game?
Sorry, just to be clear, the choice
I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think that's maybe how he thought about it.
Like. And Mawani and Odebert is irrelevant because they were in the squad. The only choice was: do you keep Tell in it because Tell got brought back? Yeah. Do you keep Tell or do you bring back Solanke? And if you bring back Solanke, I think it's a ridiculous decision.
Yeah, but
No, it's a good point.
As well, I saw one of the who was it? One of the people in the world of football today said, "Got to remember though as well that Spurs have got hardly any players." Right, the whole bench is going to be full of kids. Solanke gives you at least that experience and that and some form of leadership. If your front 3 is Tell, Odeber, and Mawani, who doesn't even want to be here, and then you've got Simmons, Bergvall, and Gray behind them, you've got hardly any present. It's just food for thought. Look, I know who I'd rather have up front. I don't rate Tell, so I don't really care. I know loads of people have lost their mind, but I think people are losing their mind as though he's dropped Harry Kane. You
know what's interesting? Every time Tell gets substituted, the home support boo the decision and then give him when he walks around the pitch. The home fans really appreciate Matisse Tell.
No, because he works hard. It's not because he's actually got any quality. It's because he works hard, right? The other weekend, he wasn't good. He just worked harder than the others.
Yeah, he should. Mawani, who I'm shocked at his performance, to be honest with you, but completely shocked. He should have come off ahead of Tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mawani was awful.
I think the only reason he didn't is because he wanted to go 2 up top, right? I think that's what he said. He wanted to go 2 up top.
But you know what, Stafford? You're watching the game with your eyes. He's watching the same game as I am,
Johnny, I agree.
and you are.
Johnny, I agree, but I think the key thing for me here is, listen, when people are saying Tell was the best of the front 3 at the weekend, Tell was absolutely shit, like the other 2 were. He was just less shit, right? Not one of them looked like they were going to create. Not one of them looked like they could score. Not one of them looked like they could pass. Not one of them looked like they could cross. And again, this comes down to, again, this isn't anything about Tell. This is all 3 of them at the weekend. There was just no quality in that forward line. There's no quality there.
Savage, you know what though? He went 2 up top, but the problem was it then the 2 wingers.
No one feeding them.
Because he brought on Bergvall to go on the wing. He could have just kept Tell on the wing if he was going to be brought on Bergvall, which made no sense. Look, I
don't care. They were all shit. When we're saying he was almost threatening, he had 7 attempted crosses, not one of them landed. Right?
Yeah, no, but who do you want on the wing, Bergvall or Tell, as a winger?
I don't rate either of them. I don't care.
But as a winger, you go with Tell.
I watched Tell all game and Odeber do nothing from out wide. And then the problem is still with someone like me, I don't rate either of them, right? I don't think either of them are good enough to be at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So I don't care. Like,
I think I agree with you. I don't look. I've never defended Tell. I always argue with Sean over this on this show.
Yeah,
I don't think Tell should be at Spurs. I totally agree with you. What I will say is this though, with regarding the decision to bring in Solanke. In the last 3 games, Tell he scored a decent goal against Bournemouth. He's looked the more lively of the front 3, which have all been crap, but he's looked the most lively. So the decision is: do you keep Tell, who's actually looked like he cares? Or do you bring in Solanke, who's been out for 6 months? And for me, my concern is this. Bringing in Solanke, I think he goes off injured, which means we don't have Solanke or Tell for the next game.
I don't disagree. It's a risk, but you've got to remember this decision isn't just about tomorrow night. This decision is about this decision is about 2 games, not just
one.
If
he's injured, Sava, we lose both of them for the next game.
I agree, but he's not injured at the moment. Like we can say ifs, buts, and maybes about all of these
players.
Yeah,
no, you agree. That's the risk. You're right.
Yeah, but Solanke won't be up to 100% fully fit by the Frankfurt game either. That's only in a week's time, isn't it? Or 2 weeks' time.
Can I ask you another question? When Solanke can't complete 90 minutes tomorrow,
target man that knows how to put the ball in the net, or do you keep the young? Listen, I think as well, this puts to bed this whole nonsense about Frank signing Tell, because at every opportunity he's dropped him. Right, at every opportunity he has dropped him. I don't think Frank wants him. Right, whatever you think of Frank or Tell, I think it's clear to see he doesn't want him. It's clear to see he doesn't rate any of Odegaard, Tell, Mawat. It's clear to see. Right, all I care about is tomorrow night. Frank will live and die by his decision. If Solanke starts and gets injured, then Thomas Frank's going to have to take that on the chin. If Solanke starts and scores.
Well, maybe the medical team, like Maresca at Chelsea, he gets told. But I would like to know who was the smart arse who decided to spend £60 million on Tell and Odegaard instead of going and spending £60 million on one top player who's a game changer. That is the question that should have been asked, because that is where this club has been going wrong time and time again. I hope Tell and I hope Odegaard go on to become great players, but we needed someone here and now to affect this team, oven ready to come on and serve the club. We haven't got any of that now, and we're paying the price.
Johnny, all roads always lead back to our recruitment, whichever way we look at it.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, Johnny, right? I was speaking with my uncle this afternoon and I said, isn't it pathetic that we have fans sitting and arguing about who should start over Tell and Odegaard? Years and years ago, neither of these two are at this football club. Like this isn't the standard Tottenham used to buy. Now we're buying them, and the excuse for I know they were all shit at the weekend, right? But it was but he worked hard. But where's the quality? How have we ever got to a stage where that is Tottenham's front 3?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We need to talk about. We need to bring Rob McKenzie into this diatribe around who it is that is responsible, because Johan Lang gets his his mud thrown at him, but Rob McKenzie, no one's ever mentioned Rob McKenzie's name.
Listen,
he's the head of scouting, right? So he's the guy that's bringing these players to Johan Lang, surely.
My mate, who's a well-established agent, he has said to me for it must be going on 5-6 years now. Spurs need to spend the right money on the right players. Just spend big, buy the key players. 1 player, 2 players, add 2 players a season only, but add the right players. And, spending the money on a Tell and an Odegaard instead of an Eze or like-minded player is nonsensical to me. And I know people are going to come back, what has Eze done at Arsenal? Believe me, if he was at this club, he'd be playing every week and we would be certainly more dangerous going forward. At least we'd have someone to break the line. When was the last time? You know what my son said to me on Saturday? He said to me, oh, by the way, Dad, that was the 8th time that we've broken the line this season. Imagine that. That is the 8th pass to break the line this season. What the hell is that? We should try and be doing that 8 times in a game, 5 times in a game, not 8 times in a season. It's a shocking stat.
Yeah, it is. Listen, guys, we've been going for 2 hours and 15, so I don't know if we've got enough time to go through anything more, but score predictions for tomorrow night?
I'm going to go 3-1 Dortmund.
Fucking hell. You're giving us the credit of scoring a goal, Johnny.
Well, you know, an own goal, maybe.
An own goal. There you go. Okay. 3-1 Dortmund. Lubo?
3-0 Dortmund.
Okay, no. Stel?
You know, Garassi's their striker, and he was the top scorer in the Champions League last season. We've got no Van der Ven tomorrow. You just know what's going to happen. I actually don't think they're going to batter us. I think 2-1. I think we're going to actually surprise a few people because everyone's expecting disaster, but we'll lose in the end. 2-1.
What about who's the other striker at Borussia Dortmund? That Adeyemi.
Yeah.
Adeyemi, yeah, he's
a winger. He's a winger.
He's going to rinse
Pedro Porro's arsehole apart.
Pedro, my friend.
Porro's going to have a tough night. You're saying 2-1. Stabber, what you saying, my man? And thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate you coming on, mate.
You're welcome, mate. 3-0, 3-1 Dortmund. I'd love to be wrong. It's just going to be such a weak, young, inexperienced team throughout the midfield and the attack. And Garassi, by the way, he's been on the bench the last couple of games, so I don't know if he's saving himself.
He's resting.
But they've lost one game in like 18 or so.
One game in the Bundesliga all season.
Yeah.
Where are your papers?
There are your goals.
Where are your goals? Dr. Tottenham will see you now.
Yeah, where are your defenders? They are so excited.
I'm going to go for. I'm going to change the mood. I'm going to go 1-1. Cheeky little, cheeky Dulcet game.
Guys, in the chat, just to say, all of you out there, it's thousands of you been watching over the last couple of hours, and loads of you don't actually ever hit the subscribe button. So, guys, do us a favor. It helps the channel grow, helps the algorithm. If you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, it's only a little thing, but it means a lot to us. So if you manage to do that on your way out, good housekeeping, hit the subscribe and hit the like button. It's the little thumb button there. Sorry, Shawnee.
Big up to you. Big up to Johnny. Big up to you, Desto, as well. Coming in late one with his saying Bruno broke the lines 11 times versus Manchester City.
There you go. Yeah. And we've managed it 8 times in the season.
Yeah. If only we signed a player like Bruno Fernandes, eh?
Oh, let's not do that again. Let's not do that again. Gedson versus Bruno. How many times? How many more times in our YouTube careers is someone going to bring up Gedson versus Bruno? I think Lubo's
Gedson Fernandes.
You think how much hate Bruno Fernandes gets and how many goals and assists he actually gets every year for Man United? It is insane, isn't it?
There was a period last season. So there was a period last season that he contributed 19 out of 20 goals or assists.
Quality footballer.
Do you know, I actually bought Sean's chairman didn't want to pay the 10 million for Bruno, ended up with Gedson.
I've got to go. I ain't got time for you to start one of them with.
No. Not doing this again. Not doing this again, Lubo, you donut.
Time for that.
Right. Well, we'll round it off now. Saba, thanks so much for coming on again. Big up to all the other 3 of you guys on here. Thanks for all the super chats. All the links for everyone's channels always in the description. Please also smash the like and subscribe on the way out. Get over to OK Jersey for all of your footballing clobber. And please do follow us on Spotify and Apple Pods and all that stuff. And we'll see you on Thursday, guys. Enjoy the game tomorrow if you're going or otherwise. We'll see you later on. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Come on, you Spurs.